Alright everyone, we are back with another episode of Speedruns From the Crypt, your bi-weekly horror hotfix, where we bring spooky games to you every 2 weeks. Hope you're all doing good today. Before I begin, I do want to say that AGDQ 2023 Online will be held from January 8th to the 15th, and game submissions and event volunteer applications are currently open until September 24th. Feel free to head over to gamesdonequick.com for more information on this. Anyway, hope you're all doing good and hope you're all having a wonderful night. Tonight we're going to be looking at some truly tormented games. I really think the word tormented is cool, and honestly that just felt like a cool theme. So I picked 2 games that have the word tormented in them, which is Fatal Frame 3 The Tormented, I think it's just called, and Tormented Souls. We have some great runners, some great games, and honestly some fun challenges, considering our first game already is going to be going some pretty deep territory right off the bat. Anyway, I'll have her tell us more about the category once we get there, but our first run will be Fatal Frame 3 The Tormented with Ms. Scarlett Tanager. So take it away.
Hello! So yes, a little bit of a challenge because I decided on my own that I was going to do this run on Nightmare, but I am doing it on New Game Plus, so there's that at least. Yeah, Fatal Frame 3 is... It is probably a little bit less than twice as long, I think, than the other speedruns for the 2 games previous to it. But it is kind of fortuitous that we're going to be playing this game, seeing as the announcement of the 4th one finally getting released. But yeah, my name is Miss Scarlett Tanager, and let's just get right into it. There's no use just sitting around. All right, time starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Fatal Frame 3 is sort of Survivor's Guilt, the video game, if that makes sense. All of the 3 characters that you play as, Rei Kurosawa, Miku Hinasaki, which if you know Fatal Frame, you know that name very well, and Kei Amakura, they all have dealt with, in their personal lives, a death in the family. And because of that, the powers that be, aka the Fatal Frame world, have decided that they get to go into a spooky mansion in their sleep and have spooky things happen to them in the spooky mansion. They are being tormented in their dreams, you could say. So the beginning isn't supposed to make too much sense, especially because I skipped the cutscenes, because we don't watch cutscenes. Cutscenes are slow. But we are currently playing as Rei, who is investigating a spooky mansion, but in the daytime, with her assistant, Miku, when she sees some things out of the corner of her eye and decides to go chase after them, namely her fiancé, who died in a car crash that Rei herself was the driver of, so she feels a lot of guilt about that, which this game deals very heavily in that sort of thing. But, don't turn around, Rei. So one thing you have to be careful with when you're running this game is if you flick the controller too quickly, your character will do 180 when you don't want them to. So what I did just then is a glitch called Stair Skate. And if you know Fatal Frame very well, at least the original 3, you know Stair Skate. Though Stair Skate is done a bit differently in Fatal Frame 3 than it is in 1 and 2. You can't just mash the run button in order to go faster downstairs. You have to flick the controller to the left or to the right as you're going down the stairs, and then you have to keep holding the direction. You can't use the run ability that... I'm not holding the thumbstick right now. All you have to do is hold the run button to go forward usually, but when you're doing the stair gate glitch in this game, you have to be using the directional button on the stairs at least. So it's not as useful when you're going up and down shorter stairs. You're only going to see me doing it when I'm on longer stairs. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I just know that it's faster and that it bugs out the animation for going up and down stairs, which is pretty nice. Alright, so we woke up from the spooky dream of spookiness, and then we went immediately back to sleep. So what you're going to see is that this game is split into sort of 2 sections. You have the sleeping sections in the manner of sleep, and you have the awake time sections, where you're playing as Rei running around her house. So, where we go? Okay. And right now we are still stuck in the mansion. We haven't even seen the house just yet. But Ray is just there. That's the little bit of the movement glitch I was talking about if you accidentally hit the control stick too quickly. Yes, okay, Ray. So sometimes the game decides it just wants to take away control from you for no reason. It does that. Don't worry about it. Now, there will be a smaller glitch that I'm going to be showing off later on. Hopefully, if I can pull it off. It's a little bit... The input for it is a little bit trickier. That can actually cause you to wrestle control back from the game when it does these little segments where you can't move even though you're not in a cutscene. There are two places I found that glitch useful, and they're both in sort of the late game. But just keep that in mind for later. We're still just following the little sounds that we hear, going through the spooky mansion. We don't know why we're here. Everything is fine, except everything's not fine. We just skipped a jump scare, because we're not about that life. This is Yoshi. Everybody say hi to Yoshi. She is not a green dinosaur, sadly, but she is Yoshi, and we like Yoshi. Nothing bad's gonna happen to Yoshi. Because Yoshi is not a ghost. He is actually another person stuck in the mansion, just like us. For now. But yes, we are going to go chase down Yoshi, because another living person in the creepy, spooky mansion. We gotta go chase down Yoshi. But sadly, we can't just get to Yoshi just yet. Because we have our first boss fight! And by boss fight, I mean... dead. So that is the benefit of playing this game on New Game Plus. I am on Nightmare difficulty. This is the most difficult difficulty in the game. Yet I was able to one-shot the first mandatory ghost. That is almost entirely because of two things in the game. You have the Festival lens, which is an attachment for your camera that you can really only get in New Game Plus, and the fact that I have a massively overpowered camera with a lens called with an ability called the Crush lens. Now, with these two things, I no longer use film when I shoot the camera, and at the same time, I use an ability that I think it cripples my damage output. So because of that, even though I'm on Nightmare difficulty, I'm going to be one-shotting most things in this game up until, I think, 3/4 of the way through, which in some ways makes this game quite easy to learn. Difficult to master, but easy to learn. Especially because this game is available still on the PlayStation 3 PSN, I believe. And I saw a question in chat. This is indeed the same runner who does Kuan. Oh, don't mind me. I was talking too much. I forgot to go get the film. So I took a picture of Yoshi when I was in the Manor of Sleep, and we have to go now get that piece of film. Because even though we took a picture of that film in the dream world, for some reason, it appears in the real world. And now we have to go get that and develop it, because Ray here is a photographer, and Miku, the protagonist of Fatal Frame 1, is her assistant, who lives with her for some reason. Reasons. And no, we are not going to be dropping Yoshi into a bottomless pit like you would in Mario. This is true. You know, that is kind of interesting that they had a Mario game right before this. It does give me a chuckle. Alright, now we just have to go all the way back to where I was just a moment ago. And the cat teleported. That's weird. Usually the cat doesn't teleport. Cat went from the couch to the upstairs.
Game's haunted.
That is fair. So, that is an interesting thing that you bring up. The house itself is haunted progressively. So sort of like in Silent Hill 4 The Room. The more you play the game, the more haunted the house gets, though not quite as dramatically as in Silent Hill 4. But we're not going to be seeing most of the hauntings, because that would be slow. But I will point them out when I see them. Alright, so we have now gotten the photograph all developed, and now we're going to give it to Miku, because Miku's job in this game is to be our researcher.
I don't know if I find anything.
Because I think she was originally the assistant of Ray's fiance. Yes. The camera at the save point, we don't care, we're going to sleep. So every time you go to sleep, you end the day phase, and you go into the night phase. You don't have to worry about being attacked during the day phase pretty much at all. The only time I think there's any combat during the day phase is not actually during the main game, it's during the optional combat arenas you can go into. Also, don't mind the rabbits behind me, they're going to be running around, that's what they do. So we're chasing down Yoshi. Still. Because Yoshi is still a person, and we still want to go say hi to her. Because we like Yoshi. For now. We might not like her so much later.
Go away.
So, I just saw somebody mention in the GDQ chat that this reminds them of the Ring Terror's Realm. Ekdices, what do you think about that?
I didn't want to survive.
Oh god, the Ring Terror's Realm. I mean, it is one of the games of all time. The person who said it as well, I know very well they know about the Ring.
Mm-hmm. I've been meaning to learn that speedrun as well, because I do have a Dreamcast. It's just getting your hands on it. Play a cutscene, show rabbits. Nah, cutscenes are slow. We skip cutscenes. You'll be able to see them in the background being cute, just like during my Kuon run. Alright. So what you just saw is the way the game does some of its unlocking. So other games have keys. This game also has keys, but it also has the camera unlock mechanic. So in some areas you'll come across a door that is locked with a spooky ghostiness on it, because it's a spooky game. Now you take a picture of that door, and it shows you another place. Go to the place that was in the photo, take a picture there, and it unlocks. So, this is a ghost lady. She's gonna be spooky in this hallway. We're just gonna leave her. We don't need her. We're gonna go this way. Because this door was locked, it is now not locked because I went and took another picture elsewhere. So the camera is both useful for combat and for unlocking doors. Alright, everybody say hi to Yoshi. We have actually found her. Hooray. Except Yoshi's not having the best time. We're just gonna take her passport, because we're rude like that, and we're gonna leave her. We found Yoshi, now we're gone.
You should wake up.
Yoshi's gonna mumble at us a bit.
Help me. Please wake me up. I didn't do anything wrong. Why?
Yes, Yoshi, I hear you. Come on, let's go. We got places to be. Alrighty, so now we have woken up again. And now we have another daytime section. One thing that can take a little bit to learn when you're learning this game is what to do when during the daytime sections. Because I have not unfrequently thought I was on a different day than I was in, which would cause me to try and go do something for the wrong daytime section. Which of course loses you time, and we don't like doing that. That's slow. Losing time is slow.
Hello?
Ray, it's Miku.
Okay. So So we're getting a phone call from Miku. She's telling us about Yoshi, and we should go see Yoshi in the hospital because Yoshi's in a coma. Yoshi in the real world is in a coma. Yoshi in the mansion is not in a coma. So we went and saw Yoshi, and Yoshi was fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yoshi was fine. Nothing very unfortunate happened in that cutscene. But part of this game is each one of the characters, due to their survivor's guilt, get pulled into the manner of sleep and they get cursed by the main ghost of the game, Reika. And over time, that curse slowly saps their ability to stay awake until they fall into a coma. Once they have fallen into a coma, they start getting actively chased by the main antagonist ghost, and if she catches them, then they turn into a very unfortunate soot stain in the real world, and their body is gone, and they have now become a ghostie in the mansion. Which, yeah, I'm not going to be around the bush. That absolutely happened to Yoshi in the cutscene that I skipped there. So we're going to have to go deal with that right about now, because Yoshi is still exactly where we left her. Except she's a little bit worse for wear. Alright. So we can't actually attack Yoshino yet until we get rid of these little ghost buddies around her. Come on. There's should be one more. There we go. And now I'm just gonna do circles around Yoshi. There's no reason to do this. I just do it because you can't actually attack her until she stands up. Okay. So because I'm a nightmare, I'm gonna wait a second. I did a regular attack, and then is it gonna work? Nope, decided not to. Okay. Sometimes you can get 2 shots in there quickly enough that you can take her out without having to do a third. Decided it didn't like me, but it's fine. She's gone. And that was the first actual boss in the game. And we're just gonna skip that. Ray's gonna have some hard time getting up, and we are back into the next daytime section. Now, for some reason, the game refers to the tattoo that starts appearing on your character's body throughout the game as a bruise, even though everywhere else it's referred to as a tattoo. But so we're just going to take all of this information from Miku. We sent her out on an errand. She went and did the errand for us. And now we're going to take her stuff. And that's the entire daytime or entire nighttime section. Now we're going to go back to bed. Now, if I really wanted to, I could run around the house some more and go find some spooky spooks. But again, that's slow, so we're not going to do that. So it looks like Yoshi left us a present. We're going to go pick up that present because we need it. This is very nice of her to leave us a present. And as soon as I round this corner, hi Yoshi, bye Yoshi. Now, I'm going to need chat and everyone else to keep an eye out. Oh, I almost got hit there. Every single time you go into the awake world, from now on, there is some chances and areas that you're going to be able to see Yoshi in the house. Because now, until the end of the game, Yoshi is possessing the house. There's something in my stream that I call Kitchen Yoshi. Every time she appears in the in the kitchen and you can see her, I say that the run is blessed and we're gonna have a good run. So just gotta hope for Kitchen Yoshi. What happened to Yoshi? She got. So like I explained, the curse in the game is the tattoos start to spread over a person's body, and once they spread all the way, the person dies in the real world and becomes a ghost. That's what happened to Yoshi. The tattoo only really spreads when they get caught by the main antagonist, Ghost Reika. So sometime when Rei was awake, Yoshi got for the final time.
I remember now. I remember this place.
Sadly, there is no Mario in this game. There's only a Yoshi. Her name is actually Yoshino, but I never call her that. I only ever call her Yoshi.
In fairness, for my vague knowledge of Mario, isn't the popular meme that Mario's constantly killing Yoshi anyway?
I mean, that's fair.
There's no good roads for Yoshi.
No, not at all. Alright, so we got some 2 ghosts here, and I do actually have to take out these ghosts. Most of the time, these particular ghosts are considered random ghosts. But these guys actually have a puzzle item that I need. The other one's gonna appear right about there. I should have let him come forward a little bit further, but it is what it is. Come on. I got places to be. Unless he's going to disappear and appear behind me. Oh, nope, there he is. And look, they had a present. We are going to take that present and we're going to go do a puzzle with it. Because yes, this game, of course, has puzzles. Thankfully, they're not as obtuse as the ones in Fatal Frame 1 can get. Shots fired a little bit there, but I have a hard time with Fatal Frame 1's puzzles sometimes. We're just gonna skate up these stairs, chase this little ghosty, and do a puzzle. This one's an easy puzzle. You can move each one of the blocks the number of lines there is. So 1 line, you can move it twice, 3 lines, you can move it 3 times, and you have to get all of them to be able to go to that little symbol, so be able to move the max amount of times without actually going backwards. Which takes a little bit to wrap your head around, but once you get it, the puzzles are fairly easy. To remember, at least. So each chapter has a little bit of a sub-goal that you're going towards. This one is we're just trying to get deeper in the mansion. The first half of the game is just slowly unlocking other parts of the mansion until you have the whole mansion functionally unlocked. The second half of the game is mostly just going around to collect things in the mansion to get to the final part of the game. Right, and there should be a ghosty goo. Hello? Man's being rude. Going into the wall. Thank you. And we're out. Or we're not. There we go. If you are in a mandatory fight room, you can't actually leave it until you've killed the ghost. But even if you've done the final hit on the ghost, you have to wait for the ghost to vanish before it'll actually let you leave the room. Slightly annoying, but that is what it is. Alrighty. So now that we have killed most of those mandatory ghosts, you saw that I picked up a key. Now that room with all of the gravestones and all of the snow falling, that is the room that has the locked door I needed that key for. So we just have to go all the way back there, and that will be the end of this chapter. Chapters in this game are called hours, not chapters, because this game has to be special. That's a doorway. You gotta go through it, not just run into it. We unlock the door into the main area of the mansion. And that's the end of this chapter. As soon as Rei decides she wants to wake up. Because of course we have to wait for her little mini cutscene to go through before she actually wakes up. There we go. Now we're in another daytime section. Just running around doing errands in the house. There's a phone call. There's a kitty. I know that you can pet the cat. I've never managed to actually figure out when and where you can pet the cat. Because, oh, there we go, chat. Kitchen Yoshi. There's a ghost in the kitchen. The beginnings of the hauntings.
I understand. Thanks.
Alright. Right, I have to go to... See, that little circle that I made there was just because I momentarily forgot which daytime section I was in. But we gotta let the cat in Namika's room, because now we have permission to go in here. Hello, kitty. Bye-bye, kitty. Alright, I'm gonna see... Will you let me do it? You have to hold it. Ah! No? Darn it. The cat doesn't want to say hi to us, chat. Okay. We'll say hi to the cat later. You can get the cat to actually nudge your hand and say hi, but apparently the cat doesn't want to say hi today. Yes, this is indeed a stair skating in heels. Though, to be fair, that's because I'm currently wearing one of the unlockable costumes, because like most Fatal Frame games, this game has quite a few costumes you can unlock.
I'm not gonna lie, the idea of stair skating in heels just sounds like a fancy version of falling downstairs, and that's a horrifying concept.
It's fine.
This place is...
I mean, she's not like in real big heels. It's sort of like, she's sort of wearing pumps. So, it's not the heeliest heel that's ever healed. Alrighty, so we are going to immediately get attacked by a ghost. We're just going to run away from him, because fighting ghosts is slow. Now, like I said, the first few chapters here, we're just playing as Ray, trying to unlock most of the mansion. But very soon, in fact, I believe in the next chapter after Ray, in the next chapter after this one, we will be getting to see our second playable character. Because, as I mentioned, there's 3 of them. Most of the game you are playing as Ray, but you will be playing as 2 other characters, one of which y'all should recognize, especially because of the costume I put her in. This is not the original house in the first game, but you will be seeing parts of that mansion. Because one thing that Fatal Frame 3 did that I really liked is it actually does incorporate some specific rooms and buildings from Fatal Frame 1 and 2 into it, because the Manor of Sleep is supposed to be sort of an amalgamation of people's like nightmares and dreams. So you will be seeing some very familiar locations if you know the other games. Alright, don't worry about the fact that we currently have a monster here. He's fine. Oh, darn it. Okay. Just for safety's reasons, I'm going to heal. Okay. That guy really likes to hit me. I've been able to dodge it before, it's just rather difficult. Alright. So, I'm not gonna have much to say for a little bit here because we're just gonna be backtracking. All the way back to where I first took that picture of Yoshino through the little window thing, way back in the beginning of the game. Because for some reason, the picture I need to take to unlock the door that I was just at is all the way back at the beginning.
So I guess considering we just have the walking all the way back, I guess I'll ask some rapid fire questions, just as a general thing with many horror games. One thing I always wonder, and especially considering this run is almost 3 hours, how difficult was it for you to kind of memorize the lay of the land or the map as a whole? Because I know they kind of restrict you in some areas, but especially during this chapter as the game progresses, they kind of want you in the whole manor, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah.
So how easy would you say it is to kind of like remember, like, all right, I have to go this way. Oh, wait, no, that's bad. And all that.
It is, it can be a little difficult. You guys already saw me screw it up once towards the beginning when I went straight to the dark room instead of going to actually get the film that I needed to take to the dark room. Because you go into the dark room 2 times. You only have to go in there twice during the game. But you only have to get the film from the camera once. But yeah, I do love this speedrun, but it is a lot of trying to remember, okay, where am I going? Which chapter am I in? Which part of the game am I doing? Especially earlier on. Later in the game, it's actually a little bit easier to keep track of it because the game is a little bit forgiving. In that, towards the beginning of the game, you're only in the entrance areas of the mansion, or the manor. In the middle of the game, you're spending most of your time all throughout the manor. Toward the end of the game, you're only really spending your time in the back sections of the manor, so you sort of don't have to worry about the entrance areas anymore, which makes it a little bit easier to keep track. Though one thing that did take me some time was trying to figure out the fastest way to get through the mansion. Because if you look at the videos on speedrun.com, it seems like everybody has their own way that they take to get from point A to point B. Now, I have spent some time trying to compare routes to get from point A to point B, and I think I figured out the fastest way for most times in the game, or most sections, to get from point A to point B. But it's still a lot to remember, especially because you are still going through the same areas as 3 different characters doing different things. Though the fact that it's as 3 different characters, it can be a little bit of a help. Because say you're going through one area of the mansion as Rei, and you go do one thing, and then the next chapter is from Miku's point of view, in the same part of the manor. It's a little bit harder to get lost because you'll go, wait, I'm playing as Miku, I know Miku has to do this in this area. But it is definitely something that takes some repetition to get. And I have to go all the way back to that original door that I took when I got hit by that very rude man with a cleaver. Oh, that is a wall, Ray. You can't go through walls, you're not a ghost. No, of the Fatal Frame games, of all of them, and I have played all of them, even the, at least for now, Japanese only Fatal Frame 4, this one is my favorite, by far. I know people tend to favor Fatal Frame 2, but this one has a soft spot in my heart. Alright, the one thing to keep in mind about the stair skating in this game, because I just did it there for a second, if you try to do the stair skating glitch too early on the stairs, or you fail to flick to the left or right correctly in order to actually get it to trigger, your character will decide instead of going faster down the stairs, she wants to go sluggishly slow down the stairs, which is annoying. Thankfully, it's easy to fix, but that's another one of the reasons why I usually only do the stair glitch on longer stairs, not shorter ones. I am very excited for Fatal Frame 4 to be coming out in English, finally.
Should be exciting to see what runs it gets as well, because I know Fatal Frame 5 ended up also having the re-release, and I think that brought a couple of runners for a minute.
I do have Fatal Frame 5 on my list of runs I want to do because its structure seems a lot of fun for me, because it has a very similar structure to this game in an almost like level or chapter way. Because you have a very defined, this is your daytime section, then your nighttime section, daytime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime, and Fatal Frame 5 has somewhat of a similar daytime, nighttime thing going on. Alright, so now this door should be unlocked. And now we can just go get the key as soon as this little mini cutscene's done. I call these mini cutscenes because they're not actual cutscenes, and these are the ones that I'll be able to, hopefully if I can pull it off, bug out a little bit later. Alright. Hello there, how you doing? Goodbye. Yeah, I need to get the more powerful film. Okay. So when I run in circles like this, or walk in circles, I guess, it's me trying to figure out where the ghost is.
Are you hurt?
She's at my foot, isn't she? Yep, there she is. Okay. So here is another film to develop, but this film we don't actually ever have to develop, so I'm not going to. There is 3 mandatory films that you take in the game. Films like that, ones that actually go to the real world. And of them, you only ever have to actually develop 2 of them. Come on, game. There we go. All right, we are back in the daytime section. We now have some musty film that we're never going to do anything with. I wonder if the cat will let me pet them yet. Eventually I'll get the cat to let me pet them. Alright, now we have a cutscene of Miku being creepy. She's very good at that. Now you sort of realize at this point that Miku's having the same dreams that Rei's been having. And our next chapter will be playing as her. She is still very, very sad and depressed and has survivor's guilt over the death of her brother Mufuyu in the first game. Which, somebody in chat correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the confirmation of the canon ending of Fatal Frame 1. I can't remember if it gets confirmed in Fatal Frame 2, which ending was canon, but this game definitely confirms it. Oh, whoops. I went the wrong way. And that is another example of me forgetting which day I'm on.
So, really quick, because I know how the gameplay loop of Fatal Frame 3 works. Normally you have the daytime section where you have to do something, it goes to nighttime, at which point you want to get back to the dream as soon as possible. If it doesn't already exist, is there a way to possibly skip a night? Because I know, like, in some games, if you can get a certain item that would activate, like, another chapter, in theory you can activate that chapter earlier. I know in this game, I think, like, certain recordings and certain things might exist, but can you activate any of the nights earlier than it should happen?
No asterisks. If you guys want to see it, I will show off a specific glitch if I can get it to actually trigger. That happens at night 9, I think. I think it's night 9 right before night 10. As far as we know, there is no way to skip to another chapter. There's no way to skip nights, as far as we know. Now, I'm saying as far as we know because there is a very weird glitch. If there is a ghost, like not a attacking ghost, but a sort of haunting ghost, in Rei's room that's actively being spooky and haunting, and you go to the bed and do you want to go to sleep prompt, and you go to sleep while that ghost is still actively in haunt mode, it causes the game to bug out and put you in the wrong character's point of view. So the bug that I'm referring to specifically, you're supposed to start a chapter with a cutscene, sort of like one of those mini cutscenes as Rei, but instead you start the chapter as Kay in the entrance of the mansion. Now, as far as I know, there's nothing you can do about that. The only thing that can be done is you just turn around, leave the manor, / wake up, and then enter it again to get the game to continue as normal. But, so that's why I said no asterisks. Theoretically, maybe someday, but as far as we know, it's a no. If that makes sense. Alright, so we got a Ghosty Goo being rather rude. So Miku has the ability to slow time because Miku is actually Neo. And because of that, Miku's sections, especially on New Game Plus, are trivial. Because she has the most powerful camera, even though she can't use lenses like the Crush lens. But she has the most powerful camera. She can double shot, so she can sort of charge her camera twice. And because of the festival lens that I have, my camera is always at max charge. And she can slow time. So of the three main playable characters that you have, Miku is by far the most powerful in fights. Rei is the one you play most of the time, and she's the one you play for the ending. And Kei is very, very weak, but he can hide. But hiding is slow, so we never do it. Alright. So you guys, if anybody has ever seen or played Fatal Frame 1, you should recognize this area. You should recognize all the areas I've been in. Alright, where is she? She's over here. Okay. Cool me. Hi! So this ghost is a ghost named Kyoka. She is going to be a constant appearance in this game. I think she attacks you 3 or 4 times. Alrighty. So I'm going to focus for a second here, and then I'll explain the puzzle. Left. So this puzzle has a different solution, but it's pretty much the same puzzle that this room would have in Fatal Frame 1. Now, if you've ever played Fatal Frame 1, that door should not have led to this room. That's one of the things about it being the manner of sleep and it all being in your dreams. That the areas from Fatal Frame 1 and 2 that actually appear aren't spatially where they should be. So it's just like they stuck random rooms together from the first 2 games. Which you'll see once we get to Kei as well, because when you play as the character Kei, you get to see some of Fatal Frame 2's locations. Sadly, you don't get to play as Mio. You get to see Mio, but we don't get to play as her. Alright, now I'm going to have to go all the way back to where I got the camera. So, in comparison to Fatal Frame 1 and 2, I would say this game probably has quite a bit more backtracking, which is a lot of the reason why it is a 2.5, 3 hour speedrun. Which also can help lead you to get lost. Right. To go down the stairs first. Alright. So we're gonna leave the mansion here, but then this little ghost lady says, "No, your brother's over here." Because Miku has been seeing visions of her dead brother Mifuyu. And she's gonna go chase after him. Which is gonna end very well for her.
Over here.
Alright, so this is the end of the Fatal Frame 1 section, because through this door we are back in the actual manner of sleep, the Fatal Frame 3 section.
Over here.
Don't worry about it, the layout of the manor is not supposed to make sense, which again also can lead to you getting lost when you're learning the speedrun. But I'd like to think that once you do it enough times, it's rather intuitive.
Save the 2.
Alrighty. Now, part of me remembering what I need to do during each daytime section is partially muscle memory. Because sometimes I just forget. Oh, we got some more kitchen. We got some more living room Yoshi over there. Some little ghosties. Okay, the cat's not down here. I will get this cat to let me pet them eventually. There is no reason to pet the cat in the game. I'm just determined to finally do so. Hello, Miku. She is the cat.
Miku? Ray, I'm sorry. I don't feel so well. I couldn't sleep.
And now we get to see a lovely picture of our next character. And here we are. That ghost that just went past the doorway there, that is the main ghost of the game. Every Fatal Frame game has their signature ghost. That is the signature ghost for this game. Her name is Reika. And the first one who really gets to interact with Reika is poor little Kay here. Hi, Mio. Bye, Mio. Mio is the protagonist of Fatal Frame 2. Kay is her uncle. And I think, not counting the very brief period of time in Fatal Frame 1 where he plays Mafuyu at the very beginning, is the first actual playable male character in the game. Or in the series.
Somebody here?
Alright. When I speedrun horror games, do I still get jump scared? No, not really. I have played so many horror games in my day and speedrun at least a few of them. But at this point, I don't really get scared of them anymore. Hello, Ghosty. Bye-bye, Ghosty. Because that's Kyoko. We don't like Kyoko. So we're gonna run away from her. Alright. There, so we're going to be doing the sort of any percent category of this game. We're not actually going to be doing the good ending of this game. So pay attention to Kay. He's not gonna have the best time. let's just say that. Because unlike some of the other Fatal Frame games, this game doesn't actually have a good ending category. The only categories, at least on speedrun.com, that have leaderboards are just for each difficulty and whether or not you're playing New Game or New Game Plus. Hello, Reika! Bye-bye, Reika. So even though I'm on Nightmare, Reika's not much of a worry in this game. So there's that at least. What's the bad ending? You will see. And it's more like the normal ending than a bad ending, really. But this is Yashu. She is sort of the main monster ghost for Kay specifically. I'm gonna try and lead her over here for safety. Normally I wouldn't do this. But because I'm on Nightmare, I kind of want to make sure to stay away from her. Alright. Because this entire time, Kay has not actually had a way to fight the ghost yet. Now I do. Did I? Oh! Okay, that's not good. Thankfully, I believe... Yes, I do have marble. Yeah. Because this is on Nightmare, the enemies hit like a truck. Alright, so we're just going to take a picture of this door. Now I have to go all the way back to where I got that holly key. Hopefully not getting hit by Yashu along the way. Alright. There we go. Ooh, come on. There we go. Now, the bad ending of this game is Kay has a bad time.
You said you would come back.
There we go. And now the door that I was at a minute ago just unlocked, and we're just gonna run away before she grabs us. Because Reika doesn't like getting her picture taken. Or not Reika, Kyoka. Characters' names blend together after a while. Nope. Don't bug the game. Sometimes, if Kyoka is on the screen trying to attack you when you open a door there, the game doesn't freeze, but it does take its sweet time to actually load the next room. Are there any good ghosts? I would argue that the main antagonist, Reika, is good, but she does try to kill you a few times, so I guess that's not so good. A good ghost, an actual good ghost who stays good throughout the entirety of the game, because every Fatal Frame has at least one, would be the little girl Amane, who you saw when I was playing as Miku earlier. Oh, whoops, I went the wrong way. Another example of what can happen sometimes when you forget which way you're going. There we go. This is going to be a little bit of a tight space here. I think oh, that's not that. Okay. Darn it, I thought that was a healing item. I thought there was a healing item up here somewhere. I think I'm thinking of something later. Alright. Just gonna pick up this key. So, we're going to be going through a little bit of a tight squeeze here. Because Yashu's coming to say hi. Sometimes I can... Hi, did it. Cool. It's about a 50-50 shot whether or not I make it down those stairs without getting hit by the ghost. But thankfully you can sort of fake her out by going one way and then turn around the other direction. But yes, we got the butterfly key, and if you know Fatal Frame 2, you know that Fatal Frame 2 very much likes its butterflies. So the door that Mio went to is locked with that butterfly key, of course. So now we get to go and see our lovely, lovely niece. Which is going to take a minute to get over there. How do I know where I need to take pictures? By playing this game a lot. Also, don't mind that ghost. Sometimes if you spend too long in an area or you take too long to do something, the game will spawn a quote-unquote random ghost to attack you. It happens more often on Nightmare. But you generally just ignore them and keep going because they don't prevent you from leaving the room, so it'd be too slow to fight them. There we go. And now we are in Fatal Frame 2 land. Hello, Mio. Have you seen your twin sister about? So there's a couple nights in this game where you don't actually go to the daytime section, at least not immediately. Because normally, when Rei wakes up, she wakes up during the daytime. But this time, she woke up during the nighttime. Part of me almost wants to show off this cutscene, because this entire section right here is a reference to Ju-on the Grudge, but I won't. Because the speedrun's already 2.5 hours. Alright, so if you've ever seen Ju-on the Grudge, the cutscene that I just skipped was Rei going into the attic and getting jump scared by not quite Kayako, but pretty much Kayako. Hello, Miku.
Ray, can you come
Thank you
here
for
a
costing me
second?
time. Miku can appear in different locations in the house. It's pretty much randomized which location she appears in during which day. And some of the locations take more or less time than the other ones. redstone radio isn't actually going to be useful to us until just before the final night of the game. So. And now we're back as Ray. Go and do some spooky shenanigans. So Ray's job from this point till getting closer to the end of the game is trying to open this big main double doors over here. Now these double doors are what lead to the temple of the manor, where you have the final endgame bosses. But it is locked up by 4 ghosties. So we have to go take out those 4 ghosties. Yes. The Cleaver Man really likes his cleaver blood. Okay, just for safety, usually I don't get this until later in the game, but just for safety, I'm gonna grab it now. This is the stone mirror item. I believe it's the same as in Fatal Frame 1 and 2, but essentially if you ever get brought down to 0 HP, it heals you up to full. Instead of you getting a game over, which is pretty nice. Especially when you're playing on the harder difficulties.
Get back! Stay away!
No, don't worry about all of the raspberry jam on the floor. Somebody just tripped when they were going to make a sandwich. This is guy crying about the fact that he tripped while trying to make a sandwich.
A lot of jam, though.
It's fine. It's just jam. It's fine. We'll go get some of those homunculi from Haunting Ground. They can clean it up. I know you know which one I'm talking about, Arctis.
Yeah, Haunting Ground's a fun game.
It's on my list of games to learn. No, I just remember one specific homunculi from that game that's licking the floor. Alright, so we saw the little ghosty goo up in the rafters there. We gotta go chase her down. Because she has the little key that we need. And by key, I mean we just have to look through a peephole to get another door to unlock. Does it make sense? Not really. Is it what you have to do? Yes. Alright, now I gotta try really hard not to get hit here. Because when you're walking on the rafters, you walk slowly. But starting right here, we get attacked by a ghost. And getting attacked by a ghost on the rafters is really just a pain in the butt. There we go. Don't you dare hit me. Okay. It's much safer to attack her from up here. Got her. Now, even though I'm on New Game Plus, and I hit like a truck, because I'm on Nightmare, the enemies also hit like trucks. Alright, now we got our second stone puzzle. Now, these puzzles get progressively harder. I would not be surprised if I screw it up at least once. Not this one, but the next one. There we go. First time every time. We're just gonna look through this peephole and immediately go away. For some reason, that unlocks a door. Video game logic. And I have to go all the way back to the strawberry jam door. Or did I say raspberry jam? Can't remember which. Anyway, we're going back to the jam door. And because of the fact that you can hold the run button in this game to automatically run forward, I don't actually have to hold the directional keys right now, which is nice when you're trying to rest your hand.
So there was another.
Yeah, it's the jam cleaver guy. We won't have to worry about him for another 3 chapters-ish. All right. So, I get attacked in this room. We're just gonna ignore them. Anytime you get attacked by any ghost that's not mandatory, just ignore them. It's not important. I'm just gonna swing by here and grab this film. Could have done it earlier, but I forgot that it existed, so. Because of the fact that I don't actually use my quote-unquote film ammunition, because I'm on New Game Plus, it is a good thing to get more powerful film. It doesn't matter if you're on easy or if you're on normal, but it does matter if you're on any other difficulty setting. Okay. So this is the last time in the game, really, that you're going to be bothering with the entrance area of the manor. We're sort of doing a little bit of a victory lap around the entrance at this point, because we have to go track down these 5 ghosts and take them out. Most of them are by the entrance, but towards the beginning of the game. At this point, we're not going to be going this far back. We're going to be spending most of our time in the back areas. Hear somebody talking and little subtitles appearing. Don't worry about that. That's just Yoshi whining in a room.
For the Crusade Shrine.
And that's number 2. I am playing this on PS3. Fatal Frame 3 has a PS3 version via PSN. It's a PS2 Classics. It is the fastest way to play the game, significantly than playing it over on a PS2. And probably the cheapest way to get the game as well. Because compared to a lot of the rarer PS2 horror games, Fatal Frame's not that expensive. I mean, it's no Kuon, but it is still cheaper to get it digitally, I think. At least until the PS3 store shuts down. But unlike Fatal Frame 1 and 2, the only version of this game is the PlayStation version. So you can't get an Xbox version. Alright, we're gonna see a ghost here, and we're just gonna go straight through him. Because the ghost we actually want is all the way down here, and as soon as we kill this ghost, we'll get rid of the other one too.
Use me, my body, as a sacrifice.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that guy. Because the other ghost is around here somewhere. Oh, stay away from me. Oh, there he is. Okay. Now, if this was another difficulty, not Nightmare, I would have been able to take out that ghost in one hit, and I wouldn't have had to keep an eye on the other one. Oop. For safety reasons, I decided to smack him. But... And those blue lanterns that were behind me there, that is actually an exit. So you can, at any time, leave the Manor of Sleep and go to the waking world again. You can actually just wake up and run around in the main house if you want to. Now, you never do that during the speedrun because that's slow. But it can be a way to refill some of your camera film, because you do have finite film. And it, if I recall, it does refill if you leave the mansion and come back. At least the weaker films do. Not the really good films. That would be a little bit too overpowered. Ah yes, Fatal Frame 2 Wii is another expensive Fatal Frame game. But again, as far as I remember, it is not to the level of games like Kuon or Haunting Ground or Rule of Rose. So I do kind of wonder why the horror games tend to be the more expensive ones. Alright, and just for safety, I'm also going to swing over here and pick this up, which is the second most powerful type of film. The only film that is more powerful than that is the Type 0 film, and you only get that once, and it's sort of off the way. But we will probably be picking that up as Ray, just for the final fights.
So, to answer your question on why horror games tended to be some of the more expensive games, for one, especially a lot of the PS2 games, they kind of came out near the end of the life cycle, and originally did not sell very many copies. Horror as a whole genre has been rising in popularity quite literally since its inception, pretty heavily. And horror fans tend to be quite devout, so they're really into what they're into.
Yeah.
So big combination of factors that just all say, hey, Rule of Rose cost $1,000.
Yeah. Wait, is it $1,000 now? I thought it was sitting around like 600. Did it go
It
up
jumps
again?
all the time.
Of course it does.
I'm just throwing out a hypothetical number, but there's a reason why these games get expensive. Also, a lot of them tend to have darker subject matter and were more subject to being pulled back in the day, meaning limited releases. It's harder just to obtain.
Which leads to... Oh, I'll finish that thought in a second here. This is the more difficult of these puzzles, and I usually at least mess it up once. There we go. First try, every try. Cool. Now I don't have to worry about that puzzle anymore. So what was I talking about?
Rare horror games and why they might be expensive.
Right. One of my favorite little horror game gems is the fact that Rule of Rose is banned in the country it's set in.
So, weirdly with Rule of Rose, a lot of people like to bring up a lot of controversies and why it's banned. Rule of Rose isn't exactly banned, but it's also not exactly not banned.
Yeah.
What that means is you're not going to be beaten to death for owning a copy of Rule of Rose.
No.
Instead, they denied it distribution, so they couldn't distribute copies of the game in the country that it was banned in. And that's how it was like a soft ban. So it just, you couldn't buy the game, but if you managed to acquire the game, it wasn't like having contraband.
Yeah. Which is the way it tends to be with a lot of horror games that don't get released for content reasons. It's like, you can't get it in the country unless you import it.
There's also rarity based on location, because some games... You know, like with Haunting Ground, copies in Japan and the EU were much, much cheaper if you bought a PAL copy because they just sold better over there for some reason. While in North America, people just weren't wanting to buy it, and it came near the end of the PS2 life cycle, and people were already jumping to PS3 at that point, and many devout fans, just people who were buying it were fans, people who weren't, like, people weren't just buying it in general to have it.
Yeah. Though that does sort of bring up a very interesting point, especially when it comes to speedrunning, especially speedrunning rare horror titles.
It's fun.
Yeah, when the game is a rare horror title and there's significant differences between regions.
Well, also there's the big thing of regional difference, because let's go with the good example. We talked about Rule of Rose. Speedrunning Rule of Rose, if you own that game, you can get a really good time in the run, because there's like 5 people. Because in the world of speedrunning, there's the whole arguments that you may have heard online from various runners of, oh, emulator versus not emulator, and normally, you know, there's whole ways you can do that, but normally what they do is they separate the leaderboard, so emulator runners go with emulator runners, and then console goes with console. So if you want to essentially get a good time in Rule of Rose, physically owning the game puts you ahead of like so many people.
But there's also the fact that Rule of Rose is an extremely difficult run because of the combat.
Oh yeah, it's like this game's length.
Can be, but my first attempt at trying to speedrun Rule of Rose took me over 6 hours.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Like you watched me do it, at least part of it.
The shrine must be
But no, I was thinking more like in Kuon. For as an example, I can't think of of it being a thing in this game, but in Kuon, theoretically, the fastest version of the game to play is the PAL version. And that's because the PAL version actually had a puzzle removed. I don't know why, but one of the early game puzzles actually got taken out of the game, which theoretically makes the PAL version shorter. However, because of the rarity of Kuon, and the fact that PAL copies of the game almost never actually pop up on eBay, all of the console runs, except for yours, Tice's, are done on the North American copy.
Yep.
But... And also there's the theoretical, like... Because of the fact that PAL region games are 50 hertz games, and if I remember correctly, they also run at a different frame rate, it might not actually be faster to play the PAL version of the game when you're playing it on console. It is objectively the fastest version of the game if you're playing it on emulator, because things like the 50 hertz difference don't matter on emulator. But on console, nobody's ever actually tried it because the game is so hard to find. So theoretically,
Save the two.
if somebody wanted to try and beat my world record on Kuon and got a PAL copy, they might be able to.
Just have $1,000 and enough time to grind world record go on, and you can do it.
Maybe not $1,000, because the PAL, even though the PAL version never shows up on eBay, but the few times it does, it tends to go for a bit cheaper for some reason. But yes, the North American version does go for $1,000. Alright, so now we're playing as Miku again, and Miku is going to go do some vent shenanigans. Everybody, Miku is sus. She's gonna vent. Garrus, what? My rabbit just ran into my bathroom. Okay.
Your rabbit vented.
Yeah, my rabbit vented. So one thing that kind of makes me go really game is look at Kei, Rei, and Miku. Miku is, I'll grant you, shorter than the other two, but in terms of like actual, physical mass, they're not that far from each other, the three protagonists, in terms of actual size. Because Kei's not a big, broad, beefy dude. For some reason, only Miku can vent. She's the only one who can go through the vents. And Kei is the only one who can push bookshelves. I don't know why. It's because the game said so. But apparently Miku is smaller than she looks. Alright, I'm gonna go over to the ladder and we're gonna meet a friend. Hello, friend. Immediately slow down time, turn around, and hit her with this. Now, if I wanted to really go fast, I would rapidly undo and redo the slowdown effect, because I do have to wait for the fatal frame chances. But just for safety's reasons, I'm not gonna do that. For safety reasons, we'll just stay in the slow-mo. Miku is definitely the imposter. Especially because I decided to put her in her Fatal Frame 1 outfit. For funsies. Yes, Miku, it's a very spooky room. So spooky. Very tormented. The hanging bodies do sort of remind me of Silent Hill 2 now that I think about it. Alright, so the entire point of this particular chapter is you may have heard... Hello, Miss Engraver. You may have heard some children singing. Now, Fatal Frame 3 goes through the grand old Fatal Frame tradition of having a spooky children singing song. Now, each one of these little orbs that I'm collecting is a portion of the song. And we need to collect all 4 of the orbs, put them together at the super spooky altar in the correct way in order to play the song. And what this functionally means is that we're going to be running around to the mansion to the same 4 spots to grab an item. Now, you not only have to functionally do this same thing as Miku, you also have to do it as Kay later on. This game really likes to send you to the same locations repeatedly as different characters to grab different items. Which again is the reason why this is a 2.5 hour speedrun versus the hour and change that Fatal Frame 1 is, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong? I don't think I am.
No, Fatal Frame 1's about like hour 10 to hour 20 normally.
That's what I thought. Yeah, this game decided it wanted to be a lot longer than that.
I think in Fatal Frame 2 is roughly about like still like hour 30 or so.
Yeah. But still, this game's got an hour on Fatal Frame 2 at least.
Fatal Frame 5 is definitely, I know, over 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Because of the way Fatal Frame 5 is... Or Fatal... Did you say Fatal Frame 4 or Fatal Frame 5? Because I know that 5 is fairly long and... Yeah,
I haven't seen 4 yet, but with 5, it is quite long, yeah.
Yeah, Fatal Frame 5 is fairly long, and that's almost entirely because of the way the game is set up. So this game does have a sort of, I call it sort of like a level system, you know, day, night, day, night, day, night, and you can't really skip to another chapter. Fatal Frame 5 just said, hold my beer, and just made it a straight up chapter select system. Which kind of makes it hard to do things like skips, especially significant skips. Oh, can you not? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna be safe here. We're just gonna do this safely. Normally, I wouldn't even worry about taking out this ghost, but because I am on the difficulty that I am on, we're gonna go ahead and do that. No, lady. We're not doing this. And there she goes. Yeah, if this was an actual serious run, I would just try and just not get hit and hope for the best. Because one strange thing about getting hit specifically on these rafters and specifically by that enemy, because I don't think it really happens every time when you get hit by other ghosts, is your character will like lurch forward. So if you manage to position Miku like I have her now, and you get hit from the side or from behind, Miku will actually lunge forward, and it's technically faster. But if you get hit twice by that ghost in Nightmare, it is a game over. But you can definitely abuse that mechanic in the other difficulties. Alright, now that I have done that little peephole unlock, because that was another one of those look through a thing, take a picture to unlock a door, we're gonna go get ourselves some more stones. They're called purity stones, and they each have a section of the song we need. Fatal Frame 5 is indeed the Maiden of Blackwater. Now we're back into the snow area. I'm just gonna be running around and grabbing some stones. There we go. So each one of these little red areas, the ones with all of the red paper dolls all over the wall, they are the handmaiden rooms. Now each of the little girl ghosts that you've seen throughout the game so far, they are one of 4 handmaids. You only ever actually fight 3 of the 4 because the 4th one is the good girl ghost. But each one of them has their own little room to themselves. Now, in terms of the storyline, you may be wondering why all of those little red paper dolls along the wall look like they've been stabbed. Well, it's their practice stabbing, because the job of the little girl ghosts, when they were not ghosts, was to stab a priestess. Don't worry about it, it's Fatal Frame shenanigans, that's kind of how Fatal Frame does. Spooky rituals in spooky, usually feudal Japanese of some sort settings. So one thing that can get a little bit nerve-wracking about this speedrun is this hallway. Every time I go through this hallway, it's a little bit of apprehension, because if you happened to get a random ghost spawn in this specific room, there's a good chance that your grandma's gonna come to town and smack you. And I mean that literally. The ghost that can spawn in this room is called the stroller grandma. It is a grandma that has nothing to do with anything in the game, that it has a little, like, baby stroller that she pushes. And especially on Nightmare, stroller grandma can one-shot you. And I've only ever had that particular random ghost spawn in that room. So hopefully it doesn't happen. That was a good girl ghost. We like her. I'm gonna pick this up for safety. Right. Yes, the ghost actually... Well, I think the ghost name is technically Grandma with Stroller, but I just call her Stroller Grandma. See, here's another example of a vent that only Miku can go into. Even though when you look at the vent from the outside... Hello, Ghosty Goo. She absolutely should be able to go through this vent. Or any of the other characters should be able to. No, actually, Stroller Grandma's attack is she runs you over with the stroller. And I have lost a world record run to that before. Not even joking. Okay, so we got the last one of the jewels. Now we have to go all the way back to the room that I woke up in for this chapter. Now, thankfully, I have routed this game in such a way that we finish off at the closest possible area. But sadly, we have to deal with these two first. Thankfully, I can just slow down time because, again, Miku is Neo. Okay, I'm not going to be able to... And yes, to answer somebody in the chat, that was indeed rabbits in the background. Their names are Garrus and Tally, and they are very cute. Where is the other one? Oh, there she is. And now, just like before, we actually have to wait for the ghost to vanish. There we go. Before it'll actually let you open the door. Okay. Now for a little bit of the story of this game, because the song that we are assembling in this chapter does have to do with the story of the game. So pretty much every Fatal Frame, I believe, at least the main series titles, has a main ghost that goes through some sort of ritual in order to do something. Usually it's related to some sort of hellmouth or afterlife or something. But in this game, you have Reika Kurosawa, who is the main ghost lady, the one who is all blue and chasing Kei around. Now, she's covered in tattoos. And those tattoos are supposed to be super magic tattoos that help people get over the passing of their loved ones. That's actually her in that little cage up there. Now, this song that we're about to put together is supposed to be sung by the little girl ghosts when they were, of course, not ghosts. in order to comfort the priestess as they were impaling her. Because, Japanese ghost rituals were hardcore. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Alright, now that we have finished the puzzle and we have assembled the song, we're gonna leave. Except we're not gonna leave. I just had to go to the door to trigger the boss fight. And of course she decided she wanted to disappear into a wall because she's rather rude. Ah, Randy. Gotcha. Is she gonna go far enough back? No, okay, good. You only have a very brief moment of time in order to actually do the Fatal Frame heads. Thankfully, it only leaves you a couple seconds from this shot, so. And there we go. And just like before, we, for some reason, woke up during nighttime because we gotta go say hi to Miku, because we are actually dreaming Miku's dream. So this entire time, Rei is not also running around somewhere in the mansion. No, she is actually going through Miku's dream. Which, they never really explain why she can do that. But at least it means that Rei doesn't have to watch herself do spooky things every night. She just gets to watch her gal pal do spooky things sometimes. Don't worry about it, guys. Just gals being pals. Right, hello, Miku. What do you got for me?
Ray? Here.
We don't have time to read because reading is slow. Downside is it's a lot of button mashing.
If you need anything else, just let me know.
Okay. Yes, I see. There's a letter. Is the cat on? Nope. Okay. Eventually, I'll be able to actually say hi to the cat. I'm determined to actually, because you can pet the cat. I've just never managed to do it on stream or during a marathon run. You know what? I got a few seconds. The cat in here? Yes. Okay. Cat. The cat has rejected us, chat. Yet again. The only reason I know you can actually pet the cat is because I've seen it done before. Okay, we're gonna listen to these, except we're not gonna listen to these. Because all you have to do is play them. You don't actually have to listen to the tapes. Because for some reason, they put the trigger for that at the beginning of the playing the cassettes instead of the end of them. Which is great because it saves you time. And now we're back to Mio! Time for some Fatal Frame 2 goodness. Come on, game. Okay. Kay decided he didn't want to walk for a second. So if you know Fatal Frame 2, you know this room. This is the Kusabi room. And if you have played Fatal Frame 2, you know exactly the kind of shenanigans that happen in the Kusabi room.
It's a promise.
Just wait. It's gonna happen. And this is the Osaka house? I can't remember the name of this house from Fatal Frame 2. But this is a house from Fatal Frame 2. So just like in Fatal Frame 2, we're gonna follow the butterflies. And this is the reason that Ron Weasley and Harry Potter is incorrect. You don't want to follow the butterflies. Okay. Uh-oh! Reika's in the house. We don't like when Reika's in the house because Reika is an extremely powerful ghost. So we're just gonna run away. There we go.
Should we continue the ritual?
Gonna take that. Now the little gate door thing to get to Mio required 2 keys. I just picked up 2 keys, so now we have to go all the way back to Mio so we can go get our niece back. Hopefully nothing wrong is gonna happen on the way there. Now we're not gonna go back to that main entrance of the room. I take the side area because it is both faster and we don't alert Reika. You never want to alert the Reika ghost because again, she is very powerful and you do not want to get grabbed by her. In fact, I don't think she's ever an instant kill ghost like the ghosts in Fatal Frame 1 or 2 can be. I don't think, except for the final fight. But I actually have to click on the door. And a Kusabi. So the Kusabi is a ghost from Fatal Frame 2 that is quite a wisdom tooth, especially in actual Fatal Frame 2, because if I recall, if he actually grabs you, it's an instant kill. Thankfully, they nerfed the Kusabi in this game. He's not that powerful. Of course, I am on Nightmare, so we don't want to get hit by him anyway. So I'm going to play this a little safe. Normally, I would almost entirely be running near the door to stay near the door as long as possible because we are trapped. We can't actually get out right now. But I'm going to sort of hang a wide berth. Oh dear. Okay, cool. So that is called an evade. If you hit the shutter button or the attack button, for the most part, quickly enough, just as you get grabbed, there is a period of time where you can use the camera shutter in order to stop yourself from actually getting hit. That's what I did there. If I had not done that, that ghost would have taken a large chunk of my HP. Alright, and as you can see, Miu has vanished. Miu has gone to the school of her sister Mayu and learned the ways of vanishing out of nowhere. Okay. Now we get to follow some more butterflies. And just for safety, I'm going to come over here and grab another stone mirror out of here. Because the characters who need the stone mirrors the most generally are Kay and Ray. I can't think of a moment where you, even on Nightmare, where you would actually need to have a stone mirror for safety when you're playing as Miku. Alright. Let's see if I can remember this puzzle. 2, 1, lower left. And I do have a cheat sheet for these because it is a lot to remember. And these puzzles are taken straight out of Fatal Frame 2, except they do have different solutions than they did in their games. Hello, Mio. Stop emulating your sister. Except she won't because she just vanished into thin air.
I won't leave you. I'll go too. Together. Again.
So we're just going through some more Fatal Frame 2 sections here.
Going to be together.
And if you know Fatal Frame 2, you should know the fight that's going to be in this room, even though this is a different game, because yes, they put the same fight in this room.
We'll always be together.
Well, not exactly the same fight, but a similar fight.
Mio?
Oh no, a ghosty goo! Except I have, what is... You use the blast lens, you don't actually use the crush lens as K. Leave me alone! Well, that was not very nice. Oh, hi, hello. Please get away from me. You hit very hard. Oh, I'm using the wrong type of film. There we go. And there's the Kusabi. Okay. So now we just have to run. We're going back the way we came. There's nothing that we have to really go get. The game just won't go onwards until you keep going. And we are being chased by the Kusabi, but we don't really have to worry about him because Kay is a fast boy. He goes fast enough that we don't have to worry about the Kusabi. I see Chad is talking about my rabbits again.
They are.
It's okay. It's okay. I know how it is.
There's one just chilling in the background right now.
Actually, there's two of them. Tally's sort of half on top of Garrus right now.
Oh.
She's sort of sitting on him. Garrus just blends into the background because he's gray. But no, if you want to see more of the bunnies, I mean, you just have to come follow me on Twitch because they have their own dedicated webcam. Alright, time for some more phone calls. Oop. This game isn't difficult. I would say it's easy to learn, but it's difficult to master.
Is this the home of Mr. Aso?
Yes, it is.
Hi, my name is Kei Amakura. Is you in at the moment?
You're...
Would it be alright if I paid my...
So this entire game so far, we have been dreaming from Kei's point of view, and judging from what we know from what Ray has said when she's woken up from Miku's dreams, she is also dreaming of this guy named Kei that she has never met. So at this point, they have not met. Not only that, but Ray has not contacted him to tell him that her fiancé is dead, so she's been getting letters from this guy, from this third protagonist, yet has not decided to contact him in any way, shape, or form to let him know that he doesn't really need to keep sending letters to her dead fiancé. This game has a fun story to try and unpack because of things like that. Alright, so Ray just took a shower. This game has not one but two shower scenes. Yes, I'm skipping both of them. And I'm going to glitch it. Can I glitch it? Can I glitch it? Come on, glitch it, glitch it. Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay, I didn't get it. So earlier when I mentioned the ability to bug out the game in order to enter the wrong chapter, this is when it would have happened. That little hand that went slithering underneath the bed there, that's a haunting ghost. Now, if I had managed to get around the table quickly enough and was in the correct spot to be able to activate the trigger on the bed and go into the next chapter, while that ghost hand was still on the floor, it would have bugged the game out and we would have been playing as Kei right now instead of Ray. And we would have had to leave the mansion and restart the chapter. That's why I said theoretically there might be a way to skip chapters in this game, but nobody's been able to figure out if it's actually possible or not.
It must not be opened. That priestess, the shrine.
Oh, I did the wrong button. He's gonna hit me. This is fine. Except I just went right through him. Okay. Oh, there he is. So this entire chapter is we just have to defeat this guy twice. We defeat him, we go a couple rooms over, we take another picture, and then we defeat him again. And then we come back to this door and we finish the chapter.
Sacrifices.
It is the shortest chapter in the game, I believe. So we're just gonna follow the strawberry jam. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Hopefully we don't get stroller grandma. No, we're just gonna get a bell dropped from the ceiling, almost giving a concussion to our protagonist. Okay, no stroller grandma. Cool. We don't like stroller grandmas. At least not ghost ones. Okay, one thing that I have messed up before is you need to make sure you go south down this hallway, not north, because you have to get to the other side of this room. But if you go north, you don't trigger this little ghost appearance.
Finish it.
which has caused me to lose time before. But you have to trigger that ghost appearance, or Ray just ignores the little obvious door outline on this wall. You just gotta take a picture of that guy, and that gets rid of the last of the door locks on that main door there. And now we just have to go back there and open it. And nothing bad's gonna happen. And by nothing bad, I mean everything bad. No, I think that, at least compared to some other horror games, this horror game in particular is a fairly chill horror game to learn. So I would definitely recommend it if you're wanting to get into speedruns, especially if you can deal with the slightly longer length of this game. Because of the fact that there is so much backtracking and you can ignore a lot of the ghosts, it sort of just makes it a chill game to play. Especially if you're playing it on New Game Plus. It is obviously more stressful to play it on New Game when you have to worry about doing camera upgrades, but since I'm on New Game Plus, we have a literal bazooka in the form of a camera, so...
The unleashing cannot be allowed to continue.
Okay, we're getting chased by Strawberry Jam Cleaver Man. He is going very fast and being very rude. So we have to teach him to be polite. There we go. He has been taught how to be polite.
More blood.
And that is the last time we have to deal with that ghost for the rest of the game. Alright, now we can get through this creepy door into the final areas of the game. So this is the end of Hour 9, or Chapter 9. And there is 13 and change chapters. Because the last chapter, Chapter 13, does have a sort of faux 14th chapter at the end of it. But it's not a real chapter, it's just the final 2 fights and then the credits. Also, if you hear the sound of a wheel turning in my background, I apologize. There is also chinchillas. And yes, they do have their own camera as well on my live streams. Alright, just gotta answer the phone twice, if I remember correctly. Because if we listen...
Kurosawa speaking? Miko?
That's not a phone call. That's Yoshi. Yoshi's having a hard time with phones, you guys. Okay, now we just have to sit here and wait. And we get the actual phone call.
Hello? This is Amakura.
Yes, well...
Alrighty. And now we are going into the 9th, or the 10th chapter, not 9th, 10th. So if I was to get the good ending, which I believe this is one of the few Fatal Frame games where the good ending is actually confirmed canon, but if I was to get the good ending in this game, this is when I would do it. But that's slow, so we're not. We're gonna get the normal or bad ending because it's faster. And significantly faster. It takes about 10 more minutes. Okay. So that door that Ray opened in the last chapter, as Kay does a little pirouette there, that is where we have to go next. Because now it is time for Kay to do some parkour. some very dangerous parkour. He's gonna be jumping on some roofs. Totally a good thing to do in a yukata like that. Alright. So anybody who's played a Fatal Frame game before, especially the original trilogy of games, you know what this black and white vision means. Black and white vision in the Fatal Frame games means that you are in danger. Now, in Fatal Frame 1 and 2, it usually means you're being actively chased by the instant kill main ghost. It doesn't quite mean that in this game. What the black and white vision, or the miasma vision, means in this game is that enemy ghosts are significantly more powerful, but unlike Fatal Frame 1 and 2, it's up to you whether or not you're in black and white vision for the most part. You can get something called a purifying candle that chases away the black and white vision. Now, another thing about the black and white vision is that, if I recall correctly, it causes random ghosts to attack you more often, and later on in the game, it causes the main ghost to be more likely to chase you. You don't want that. She is very powerful and very annoying if she starts chasing you. Thankfully, we don't really have to worry about that, because in all of my time speedrunning this game and any difficulty, I don't think I've ever actually run out of a purifying candle once I've gotten one. Because it's been routed in such a way that you're generally able to get through the game before that happens. Alrighty, so we got another pinwheel puzzle here. This one has a very similar solution to the last one. I also have it written down, though, because the last thing I want is to do it wrong live on stream. Alrighty. So earlier I mentioned that you only have to develop 2 pieces of film in the game. The film that I'm about to take a picture of here, as soon as I cross this corner, is the second one of the 3 mandatory pieces of film in the game. Okay, for some reason decided it didn't want to give it to me, but you only have to develop the first and the last one. You don't actually have to develop the second one. And this is the purifying light I was talking about. It chases away the black and white vision, and we don't have to worry as much about getting one shot by the ghosts. Because especially on Nightmare, I think most attacks on Nightmare when you're in the black and white screen effect are one-shots. Maybe not all of them, but most of them, so you have to be very careful. And this is the part where I meant that Kay's gonna do some parkour. Now, I don't know about you, but I would not be able to jump this gap. This seems like a bit much for anybody to be able to jump. But Kay he just does it. Somehow. I know I would end up being strawberry jam on the dirt down there if I tried to do that.
He has great leg strength. He's an Olympian.
He didn't skip leg day.
Also, aren't the roofs like covered in snow at this point? And like,
you know, weirdly, not this one, because look up. This entire area is actually covered. This is a subterranean area, so this area does not have snow.
All right. But it's also tile.
Shh, it's fine. Don't worry about it, it's fine. This game doesn't need to make logic. It's a Japanese horror game. Logic is not involved here. Alright, now this is what I meant earlier by the main ghost, Reika, getting tattoos all over her body as part of her, like, special ritual when she was still alive. Now, you may have seen the ghosts attacking me earlier, but I just ran by them and ignored them. They are called engravers. They are the tattoo artists who do all of the tattoos on the main ghosts. And this is going to be the first time that you actually get a good look at them, because it's the only time? Yeah, it's the only time in the game where they're actually a mandatory fight. And they also went to the Fatal Frame 1 school of, my eyes, lady. Because they too are blind. Despite the fact that they're supposed to be making tattoos. Don't worry, it doesn't have to make sense. Most things in this game don't make sense. Okay. Yep. Oh, I didn't think I was gonna get her. Okay. That's one. Now, one thing that is annoying is that you can get hit during these little mini cutscenes. Thankfully, I didn't. There we go. And that's two. Alright, so that is Chapter 10. We have 3 and change left. Three more chapters to try and pet the cat. One of these days. Hello, Miku.
Oh, good morning.
So because this is the second time in the game that we actually have to go to the dark room, we just have to go there. And that's the only thing that you have to do during the nighttime sections. And as you saw there was another little spooky haunting. A little bit strawberry jam on that bathroom mirror there. Don't worry about it. Clean that off with a little bit of soap and water. Okay. Oh, right. So you can't actually go to sleep yet, because if you try to go to sleep, Ray goes, is that Miku? Miku is singing, so we have to go say hi to Miku, then we can go away and go to bed. Which it is getting a little late, so I'll probably be taking a nap after this too. Oh no, there's a ghost in my house.
Ray? What's the matter?
Miku.
Okay. Now that we have talked to Miku, we can go to bed. Except not actually, because I'm speedrunning, but... See, once you get that purifying candle as K, every chapter from now on, you're gonna have to worry about the purifying candles. Okay. So we gotta go up there and say hi to that ghost lady who was in that, cell cage thing. And one thing that is slightly annoying about this game is this will be an example of, for some reason, Miku can go through a tiny crawl space door that nobody else can, despite the fact they are not that different in size. Because it would be something later would be much easier if you could go this way as Ray, but the game says no, you can only go this way as Miku. Oh, I forgot to do something. Forgot that we don't go here quite yet, we have to go back the other direction. Again, this is what I meant by sometimes things get a little blurred together in this game. When it's this long and you go through this many repeat areas. Okay. Now this is the first chapter, I believe. Oh, can you not? This is the first chapter, I believe, that you can actually go through that doorway. For some reason, in every other chapter previous to this, that specific door is locked. There is no earthly reason that that door is locked. You don't do anything to unlock that door, it just unlocks on its own. Which is the reason why I've been taking some pretty roundabout ways to get around the mansion up to this point. But now that that door is finally unlocked, we'll have an easier time getting around. So I have to go all the way back to where Kay took that picture, so there's not much to talk about between here and there. Miku, that is a wall. Miku, that is also a wall. Thankfully, you don't really get attacked by ghosts in this area. At least not when you're playing as Miku, but... Give me the book! Oh, you're gonna make me take a picture of you, aren't you? Okay. This is the commandment tome. It is not important except in so that it unlocks something. Because sometimes Fatal Frame can be allergic to the concept of actual keys. Alright, so that area where I went up the ladder on accident earlier, we have to walk all the way back over there. And yes, we do have to take the long way. And yes, we are being chased by a ghost right now. Don't worry about him though, he just wants a hug. Just dodging in there before he could grab me, that's fine. Apparently my bunnies keep freaking the chat out, I see. Alright, now we're back where I'm supposed to be. So, a slight spoiler, this is the last chapter we play as Miku. This will be the last chapter as Miku, the next one will be the last chapter as Kay, and then we'll have the final chapter as Rei. So, unlike Kay's chapter, this final chapter of Miku's is almost entirely about her trying to chase after her brother's ghost. Which, technically there's two ways you can end this chapter. There's the fast way, and there's the return to gals being pals way. We're gonna do it the fast way because it's speedrun, you gotta do it the fast way. But this will be, hopefully, if I can pull it off, the first instance of a specific glitch in this game that I actually discovered when I was playing it on the PS2 ages back. Hopefully I can pull it off. The second usage of the glitch is easier to pull off than this first usage of the glitch. Wait, oh crap, I forgot to put the book down. I almost... There we go. Okay, gotta put the book here. Do not forget to put the book on the stand, because if you don't put the book on the stand, the door that is above the book doesn't open. Is there a reason why that thing opens the other thing? Not really. Is it how that works? Yes. Okay. So you might want to turn away if you have a sensitivity to light in this room. I didn't think of it, could have warned you earlier, but it is a little bit of flashing. Thankfully, it's the only time we go in here. Now, for some reason, Miku is the only one who can go through that door I just went through. There's no reason why, but she's the only one who can. Yeah. So we got something called the Mirror of Loss. Now, this is a special item to the main antagonist ghost, and we're going to take it to where I fought those engraver ghosts as K. It unlocks the final couple rooms, like the final boss rush area of the game. That you then have to go to that area as every one of the characters in order to get to the credits. But it also does mean it's going to take me a second to get there. Hopefully I don't get attacked by a ghost, but thankfully I don't have to go through the grandma stroller room. I will forever be salty losing a world record run to that ghost. My rabbit thinks she's being so stealthy trying to sneak into my closet. Oh, right, I have to do the boss fight first. I always forget you have to do the boss fight before you can actually put the mirror down. You're about here? There she is. This is what I meant by going out of slow-mo, going into slow-mo, out of slow-mo, into slow-mo. It's just faster to do that, to do the game that way. A little bit less safe, but definitely faster. Where'd she go? There she is. Oh, I need the second head. And there goes Yashu. Okay. Now placing that mirror for some reason opens up behind the altar here towards the end game.
No one will survive. No one.
So we are back in the black or white vision, so you got to be a little bit more careful here. We're just trying to get to the bottom so we can get to the final fight as Miku. Now, each one of the characters, Rei, Miku, and Kei, they are sort of taking the place of some of the characters in Reika's life. Miku is sort of going along the same journey as the little girl Amane, the good little girl ghost. Kay is sort of going along the same path as Reika's boyfriend, and Ray is going along the same path as Reika. They're in fact voice acted by the same person, if I recall. So just interesting parallelism in this game. And this is Amane, the good girl ghost. She let her brother in and disrupted the ritual that caused everything to go wrong and go bad. So really everything in this game is that little girl's fault, but it's okay, she's nice. I didn't get that one. Oh, come on, that was supposed to be a hit. Yeah. That was a hit. So I can fight all three of these ghosts now at once, and they like to fly. Because somebody gave them the ability to fly. Thankfully, it doesn't look like they're going to do it in this fight. It's the other fight with them in this same area that happens later where they like to fly around, but... Where? Oh, there she is. That's two? Oh, no, we're not doing this. You are not nailing my feet to the floor, lady. That should be the last one. And as soon as she goes away. There we go. So one little interesting thing here. Now that is Reika's, the main antagonist ghost, boyfriend. But if you look at it through the camera, I missed it. Okay. If you look quickly enough through the camera at that character, in the camera, it's actually Miku's brother, Mufuyu, from the first game.
I'm sorry.
But you have to do it quickly enough.
I left you behind. All alone. I'll go there. With you.
Kind of weird whenever the characters say, I'll go there with you, when one of the characters' names is you. Alright, we have woken up.
They just really like you.
Yeah. Because, yes, the character's name is spelled Y-U-U, but it's said the same way. So anytime a character says, hey, you! So we're not technically done with Miku yet. We just woke up, because Miku's having a hard time. If I hadn't skipped that cutscene, the second Rei goes into Miku's room, she's surrounded by ghosts. So Miku's having a hard time. But don't worry about it. She's fine.
Please, you tell me, am I really supposed to be alive?
Somebody in the GDQ chat just made a really interesting point that I'd never thought of in all the times of playing this game. A Yurei is a type of hostile Japanese ghost, and Rei and Yu's names put together is, in fact, a hostile Japanese ghost. I never put that together before. Things you learn. Alright, so instead of being done with Miku, like you think would have happened, we are instead getting pushed back into the Fatal Frame 1 section of this game. Now, this is where that glitch was coming in, that I was talking about, is going to come into effect. Hopefully, I can pull it off. I haven't managed to pull it off in a marathon setting yet, so I'm going to focus a little bit here, because it's directly after this fight that it happens. I have to make sure I'm in the right spot for it. If that wasn't enough, fine, whatever. I'm such a jerk. I might not get the glitch off because the ghost decided she wanted to move. We'll see, though. I'll try. Nope, I didn't get it. Okay. You have roughly 3 frames there to activate a dialogue prompt over at that pedestal. And if you can activate the dialogue prompt in just those couple frames before the screen fades to black, your character gets control in that little section when you're supposed to have control taken away from you, and you're able to run to the other side of the room before the mini cutscene is over. It saves, right there, it saves about 5 to 10 seconds, depending on how quickly you can do it and how quickly you move across the room. Now, there is one other chance to show it off later. Hopefully I can get it the second time. But that one, of the 2 instances of that glitch that I have found, it's the harder one to pull off. I only pull it off maybe half the time during runs. Okay, now finally Ray and Kay have met. And everything's gonna go fine for Kay. He asked us to go get something from our former fiance's room. So we're gonna go do that. Now, throughout the game, documents will appear on Yu's desk in here. But since I haven't been in here and haven't done that, they're all sitting on top of each other. So this is the point of the game where I just get to mash the button for like 30 seconds. Okay. Picking up all of the notes that would have appeared there at different points in the game. So now we just have to take that one of the notes that we picked up to Kay, and we'll be able to go into Kay's final chapter. Okay.
Either way, it'll all be over soon.
Okay. Now, the entire point of this chapter, in one of the notes that Kay got, it told him how he could bind the priestess by stabbing her with a bunch of stakes, because that's a very nice thing to do to someone. Now, the way that we go get these stakes, because that's the point of this chapter, is to go gather all of them, is we have to go to each one of those little handmade rooms. So the handmade rooms are the ones with all the red paper dolls around them. And go get it. Go do a little puzzle, go get some stakes, and then go crucify someone. Fatal Frame is a very dark series, you guys. Okay. If I can get this... Oh, wait, no, it's right. Oh, upper left, lower right, that's what it was. Okay. So it's a shadow puzzle. You have to get the shadows for there to be no shadow on the stake, and then it, goes off. Oh, hey, a ghost. So for some reason that ghost only appears when you bring your camera up, and you can't get out of the room until you take care of her. And now they're all flying because they hate me specifically. Going in circles to figure out where the ghosts are, or you could just leave me alone. Nope, missed her. Oh, there she is. Oh, I barely got her before she grabbed me. Okay. Alright, so that's the first stake. Now we're sort of going to be making a big ol' U shape around the perimeter of the manor in order to get all of these. And this is the fastest way to get to this stake, even though we haven't been through here before. Am I being attacked by a ghost? Now we're just gonna leave. Don't want to deal with that. Okay. This is what I meant by, for some reason, Kay's the only person who can push things. Ray can't push that chest of drawers, but for some reason Kay can. Alright. Number 2. This one is easier. Oh, lower left, not lower right. There we go. That's stake number 2. Or technically, I guess stake number 4, but it's the second one you get. But no, this chapter in particular is one that it took forever for me to figure out the most optimal way to go around the mansion. I think I've got it, but who knows? Maybe somebody else will come around and start speedrunning this game, and they'll beat my time. I mean, possible. I'd always be happy for more runners for this game. Unlike Fatal Frame 1 and 2, it does have much less runners. Partially because it's one of the less popular Fatal Frame games, but also because it's such a long speedrun compared to the other ones. I have survived the stroller hallway without meeting Grandma again. Good. We're gonna have a very short interlude where we have to fight the Kyoko ghost again in here before I'm able to go get the next stake. She just wants to get a hug. In the lore and story of the game, this particular ghost has mistaken Kay for her former lover. So she wants a hug. We're not gonna give her a hug. There she is. Yes, you will. You will let me go because I told you to do so.
My child, Kaname is...
So, chat, look in the mirror to my right. Do you see something? Don't worry about it, it's fine. Just keep in mind that little mirror ghost for a second. See, for some reason, Kay can go into this little crawl space, as can Miku, but it's the only one that somebody besides Miku can go into. All of the other ones, only Miku. Okay. Oh. There we go. That is the third one. We have one left. Now, just for safety, I'm going to... Excuse me, sir. I'm going to grab this candle. Normally, I wouldn't if I was doing an actual speedrun, but just for marathon safety, I'm going to grab that just to make sure. Now, remember that mirror ghost? Hey, look, it's the mirror ghost. Anytime a ghost appears in that side mirror when you're going down this hallway, it guarantees that as soon as you go into that room down there and come out of it, that ghost is going to attack you. It's consistent. It happens every time. Okay, now we're going to go get the last stake, which thankfully is by the door that we need to go to after getting the stakes, which is how I've routed out all of these, collecting all of these stakes. Because if you were to get any of the other stakes last, then it would take longer to get back to the store. That is a door, Kay. You need to go through it. Right. Enter. Done. And that's the last one.
We can still make
Now I have to wait for the game to give me back control. There we go. Now it's time to do the same thing Miku did and rush all the way back to Kay's destiny. And he has a very fiery destiny, chat. Of course, we have to do a couple fights before we can do that. Picking that up just for safety's sake. Mostly because I can't remember if I picked it up earlier. Alright, just like before, now we are going towards this character's end. Going down the same little route. Gonna go through a boss fight at the bottom. And Kay's gonna beat his maker. Not gonna beat around the bush. Kay's not gonna have a good ending, you guys. There are 2 endings to this game, and you have access to all of them no matter what difficulty you're playing on, unlike Fatal Frame... Oh, there it is. Unlike Fatal Frame 1 and 2, where the difficulty, or the ending is dependent on the difficulty you're playing on. Excuse me? Oh, there she is. Now,
no one will survive.
This room that we're loading into, yep, it is this room. Okay. This room that we're loading into is actually the final room of the game. Not as Kay, though. This is the place where we will have the final fight against Reika very shortly, because this is the second to last chapter. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We only have maybe 15 minutes or so left. And everybody, we're gonna need some Fs in chat for Kay. Cause in that cutscene, Kay got. That cutscene still happens if you're getting the good ending, but if you have an item he doesn't get, he doesn't get got, but as you can see, he's not napping anymore. He has turned into a soot stain. Now, in the lore of this game, when the curse on a person has reached its final conclusion, the character's physical body dies and they turn into a ghost. Hence...
You know...
Yeah.
I know he died, but it's not very polite to be a guest in someone's house and turn into soot.
Oh, wait. Okay.
just saying, like, that's never gonna come out of the couch.
Actually, I hadn't even thought of that. Okay, so I'm going to focus here for a second because this is the second instance of that glitch I was talking about. Let's see if I can actually pull it off. I didn't get it. Okay. Usually I get this one, but you can activate the boombox in the like 2 or 3 frames before that text pop-up comes up. But this one only saves you maybe like 2-3 seconds. So it's not as important as the other one, but it's not the kind of skip that makes or breaks a run because of how long this game is. But it is definitely a little bit of stylish points if you can pull it off. There's Miku. She's currently in a coma. Don't worry, she's gonna be fine. I have it on good authority that she's in Fatal Frame 5.
If I could just see you once more. Just one more time. I want to see you again. I know I can't see you again, but...
Alright, now for some reason, all of this stuff has just been chilling in Ray's house this entire time. Now, I think the in-universe explanation for it is her fiance, who died before the game started, was a folklorist, and he was researching the manner of sleep when he died. So he had all of the stuff in his attic. So the earring is interesting. Now, if we had gotten the good ending that would have saved Kay, we would have been getting that little earring in the dream world, and Kay would have had a dream earring, and that would have saved him during the end of his last chapter. Now, because we didn't have that dream earring, Kay turned into ashes. But for some reason, the second of that earring pair has just been chilling in Ray's house this entire time. Oh, hey, look, there's a haunting underneath my desk. It's fine. We got places to be.
If I see you, I don't know. Am I
So pay attention to the
alive?
bottom left corner of the screen, because this is something that bugs me every time it pops up and gives me a chuckle. After this black and white vision goes away. Because there's actually a typo in the name of the final chapter of this game. Or at least the final main chapter, not counting that tiny little bit at the end. There goes Ray's ghosty boyfriend. We gotta go chase after him.
I have to see him. I have to find him and be sure.
Alright, and there it is. So, they spelled the word tattoo wrong. And for a game where tattoos are such an integral part of the game, I will never not get a chuckle out of that. The final... There's a stroller ghost in here. We are running away. I totally heard the stroller grandma there. We're running away from her. Okay. So the entire point of this final chapter is Ray. That mirror we got as Miku earlier, it got shattered, and we have to go pick up all the pieces for it. So we have to go to a bunch of specific areas in the manor, trigger these little cutscenes with Reika, and get the mirror shards.
My memory, my pain.
Ray, it's on. Ray, pick it up, please. Thank you. Yeah. You know what? We're gonna be Darren. We're gonna go back through Grandma hallway. Hopefully we don't get attacked by Grandma. Usually I take the other way around because I think they're about the same distance, but... Here's the second piece. Now normally this is when I would grab the stone mirror if I was playing on Nightmare and doing an actual run,
To be with you.
but I grabbed it earlier just to be safe.
I'm here. I'll always be here.
Now this particular piece you sort of have to grab from the side because if you try and grab it head on, you end up looking at that tree instead for some reason. one thing that's helpful when you're learning this particular run and learning this part of it, this particular chapter, is those subtitles.
I will shatter my
At least in the beginning, you want to make sure the subtitles are on, because they actually fade in the closer to the mirror shard that you are. Which does make it helpful if you're struggling to remember your routing. There's 2 more left. Thankfully, the game teleports you once you get the last mirror shard, so you don't have to actually backtrack for once. Here is shard number 4? And yes, you do have to sit here and listen to it. It's a good time to take a sip of tea, if you've got any.
If I could just see you once more. Once more. Just one more time.
I want to see you again. I know I can't see you.
There's number 4. Now these stairs are an example of stairs where it's not really, there's no really any point in doing the stair glitch. Just to give you sort of an idea of the size of stairs that you don't really care about. It usually is actually slower to try and do the stair escape glitch there because of needing to flick the controller to the side.
I feel like you've been in my dreams for so long, over and over. But I don't want this dream anymore.
Picking up the last shard. And now we have the mirror again. So from here on, it is just run to the credits. There is
I
1,
want to see you.
2, 3 boss fights in a row. Sort of. One of them's like sort of split into 2 depending on if you can get a quick shot on one of the ghosts. Actually, we're gonna do something a little bit safe. So Reika's just chilling over there. Don't mind her. It's only the main antagonist ghost just chilling. But hiding in this little corner over here. Now, you don't have to get this, but if you're learning the speedrun, I recommend getting it at least your first few times going through here. Especially if you're playing on New Game Plus. Type 0 film. Now, it's only 2 rounds of it. Type 0 film being the most powerful film type in the game. It is only 2 rounds, though, so it's not as useful if you're playing on New Game. But if you are playing on New Game Plus, it makes the final fights so much easier when you're playing on Nightmare.
It's my fault.
Playing on hard as well, but definitely when you're playing on Nightmare.
My fault.
Because, interestingly enough, if you're playing on New Game Plus and you're playing on easy or normal, you can actually one-shot the final boss of the game without picking up any film. Which which is a little bit overpowered. But if you're playing on Nightmare, you actually have to fight the final fight. It's over. It's still over with pretty quickly, but not over with as quickly. Come on. There we go. That's one. So this door is the point of no return. But for some reason, the game doesn't actually tell you that until you get to the bottom of the hallway. Now, just for safety's sake, I'm going to put a save here. Just because the final fight against Eureka in this game does have some instant kill attacks in it. So despite the fact that I have a stone mirror, just for safety. Alright, there we go. This is the actual final bit of the game. I kind of put this chapter and the previous chapter together because it's one continuous go. We are almost at the end of the game.
Let me sleep forever.
Get the cutscene because it's slow. Alright, that's my phone. Okay. Now this is going to take a hot minute to actually get to the bottom from here. When you play as Miku and Kei during their final chapters, the game at least teleports you further down, but when you play it as Rei, the game actually forces you to go down the entire spiral staircase. Hopefully I can get a quick shot here in a second. Got her. That's what I meant by the second boss fight is sort of two boss fights, because one ghost spawns up here and the other two ghosts spawn at the bottom. The downside, though, is the two ghosts spawn when you're on this little torii gate, which is slightly less than ideal, because you walk slowly over the torii gates, and it can cause you to get in some trouble. Oh, they're being nice for once. Usually they attack me 2 or 3 times right against here. Usually I wait until I get to the bottom to try and take these two out. But sometimes if I get a good shot... Nah, I wasn't gonna go for that one. Sometimes you can get a good shot and you can get them on the stairs. There's one. Excuse you. Ah, she got me. This is fine. Or not. She is... Oh, hi! thankfully, I have an herbal medicine, so we're gonna use that. And this is why I made that save, because they hit rather hard. Let me do this save. Just need one good shot on her. There we go. Okay, can't open the door until something pops up on the top right. But you know what, just because we're about to go into the final fight, I'm actually going to do another save here, just in case. Okay. Hopefully, I get a quick fight against Reika. And soon we'll be at credits. Really, just for safety. There we go. The game gives you one last long hallway before the final fight.
I don't want to see anymore.
And this is the room that we saw earlier when we were playing as Kay.
I don't want to see anymore.
Thankfully, the game is very nice and it'll let you get a fatal frame shot immediately during the boss fight. But time will be on the final hit against Reika. Hopefully it doesn't take that long.
No one will survive. No one.
Okay, the game's being nice to me for once. And time.
GG.
At least it was under it. Oh, that is the. Whew.
All right, so you're gonna watch the ending.
Mm-hmm. So the ending's a little bit long, so maybe we won't watch all of it. Because I don't know.
We can
how
talk
much...
while it's going.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, that is Fatal Frame 3. It is a touch longer than the other Fatal Frame games, speedrun wise, at least the early ones. But I would like to give some thanks to my bunnies for being a very good distraction, and my chinchillas being loud in the background. They are definitely very good at ruining world record speedruns. If you would like to see more of them, make sure to give me a follow at twitch.tv/Miss Scarlet Tanager. I do a lot of spooky games. Occasionally I do JRPGs. I am also the world record holder in Xenosaga. But the rabbits themselves also have their own dedicated webcam, so if you thought the rabbits were cute and you want to see more of them, make sure to give me a follow over there. Yeah, I want to say thanks to Igdisis for inviting me.
Glad to have you.
I'm glad I was able to actually do the run. I lost my voice for the most part on Sunday, but I have mostly recovered it.
Definitely glad you're feeling better with all that. I know there's the... Yeah.
Yeah, I live in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, and we had a little bit of a wildfire smoke problem this last weekend. But it's clearing up, so it's good. So now that we have put Reika, now that we put Reika to sleep, all of the ghosts and all of the undead spirits can actually travel over to the other side. They never explain what the other side is. It could be whatever you want it to be. It's the afterlife. But since Reika has been put to rest, all of the spirits can now finally go to their afterlives, including the spirit of Reika's fiance. So there's that at least. But that's going to be it for me.
All right. Well, thank you for doing the run. Glad to have you. And for anyone who does not know, Miss Scarlet does a lot of fun different runs, a lot of spooky and I guess RPGs as well, given the Xeno saga.
Yeah, I do Xenosaga, Kodelka. I like to do rarer, less done games, so your Kuons. Eventually, I'll get a leaderboard ranking for Haunting Ground. I just need to learn the run first. Clock
And hopefully,
Tower 3.
yeah.
Yeah. And what were you saying?
I was saying hopefully as well, there'll be good luck for you coming to the upcoming AGDQ event.
Fingers crossed. I actually have my list. I have all of my submissions, the games I want to submit. They're in a pile next to
You
my
have a
desk.
physical pile of them.
Well, I mean, you have to have the physical copies in order for AGDQ submission, so of course.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, and, here's one of them, the game I'm playing right now. But, yeah, it helps keep me honest and makes every time I turn and look on my desk, I go, oh, maybe I should practice one of those.
Well, that being said, that was Ms. Scarlet Tanager. You can find her, I'm sure the link was posted in chat, but twitch.tv/Ms. Scarlet Tanager. We are going to be right back with our next and final run of the night. We have some more Tormented gameplay coming up for you. But before we get to that, I do just want to say that we're going to be taking a quick wellness break. This is a time to stand up, touch your toes, stretch your legs, and all of that. Before we go to that, any subs, Prime Gaming, gift subs, bits, or anything like that does help support GDQ, both with hotfix and for the upcoming AGDQ 2023 cost. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. All right, we'll be right back. All right, we are back from the break. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you enjoyed that very difficult and very long run of Fatal Frame 3. It's definitely a fun game to watch, and Miss Scarlet does great work, so I hope that you enjoyed that run. Since we're now back, I'm going to our final run of the night, and really, I think this is one of my favorite games that came out in recent years. I've had it on previously, and it's just a great showing. I think things may have changed a bit since the last showing, but honestly, it was too good to pass up when the word Tormented comes up. So up next is going to be Tormented Souls with Rebecca R.E. Take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca R.E., a very old Resident Evil speedrunner from Chile. I ran Tormented Souls on AGDQ this year, and we also have in the commentary one of the co-developers of Tormented Souls, Mr. Sven. I'm very happy to having you here.
I don't like to be called Mr., but thank you. the young and sweet Sven. No, I'm not young anymore. But yeah, really great to see the game being played really fast, being loved by people. Thank you for the words, for the kind words for the game. It was really amazing to see people playing the game, because many games don't get played by almost no one. So having your game played so much and so many times, it's really amazing. So thank you to all the speedrunning community and everyone who's played the game.
All right, but whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. So I'm gonna start the run in 3, 2, 1, go.
I love how you see the game in Chinese, just to skip some seconds. It's really
you skip 22 seconds.
Yeah. I remember the last time we were seeing your speedrun, someone in the room said, "Oh, is it in Japanese?" And there was a girl that's Japanese, and she said, "That's not Japanese, that's Chinese." And it was like, it's actually faster than Chinese. So
yeah, it's way faster.
Yeah. So in the other languages, really long text. So and it's really fun, because when we were developing the game, we never thought about speedrunners. Of course, we are thinking just about having a game that works.
Right.
But it's really fun, because when you do this, you block scenes, you force your players to read something. It's always a decision you make consciously as a developer. So you actually have to do that. Do we want them to skip really fast? Do we want to have this effect on writing? And it's really fun to see how it affects different kind of players, especially speedrunners, because these are all kind of polished you polish the game so that it looks better. But some speedrunners suffer with that, or they can use it to their advantage. So it's really fun. For example, that just running through that in the beginning, that was just the game stopped you to see this guy run in front of you. So many things have been like streamlined.
What?
And speaking of the text thing, so the general rule in most games, I guess for speedrunning, whenever you have physical text, normally Chinese is going to be the fastest if you can get simplified Chinese. Just because there's less words as a whole, less text on the screen, so it just scrolls faster. If you can't get that, Japanese ends up being faster than a lot of just Western languages. But for spoken, it is actually a weird thing. Very often the fastest tends to be French or Italian because the way the sentences are structured, there's really, really short. But sometimes you get rare examples. Like I know for the game Ghostwire Tokyo, like Spain Spanish is fastest for that game for some reason. So sometimes it just the way it gets developed with the audio clips or just the text files.
Well, with Rebecca, someday we will develop a game in Chilean Spanish, and I assure you that will be the fastest language. We will speak so fast.
Like 1 minute, like 1 minute faster.
yeah.
I hope you do that. I really hope that happens.
It's because we speak very, very fast Spanish back home. That's why we are the Eminem of Spanish.
That's true. I remember once I was traveling with my sister. We met some Argentinian girls, and one of them just didn't understand when we spoke. When me and my sister spoke, this girl didn't understand. So we actually naturally speak slower when we speak with other people that speak Spanish. It's really funny. So some people say we are the Scottish English or the Australian English of Spanish. So it's not only we don't only speak fast, but we also destroy the word. So a little bit of everything, you know. So for speedrunners, really good.
It is.
We butcher every word. Yeah.
The speedrunners are Spanish. Nice.
Well, actually, so going to the game really quick and a question, because I know there was an update recently in the versions. So why are we on version 0.77?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I will tell you the behind the scenes of this. The thing is that we launched the game originally for PS5 and for PC, and the system is the same game functionally, but to be able to put it in a Switch, that's a really small hardware, our lead developer had to do a lot of reworking. And this meant that the game is actually slower on the new version. So Rebecca here is playing the version that's faster. I don't know the specific changes for the speedrunning community, but it's really funny how something that's actually needed to go to a platform can affect a community like the speedrunner community.
Yeah, for example, in this in this version, the pickups are faster than the last version, and there's also different location in the last version, different enemy location.
Yeah. We did some tweaking also on the experience based on the first Twitch playthroughs we saw, and we decided to streamline some stuff. Yeah, some design decisions also. So the versions are somewhat different enough so that it affects the speedrun community. And it was really nice that they got to have they saved the patch so they can actually play this version, because we didn't realize that it would affect the community this fast. And actually Rebecca talked to us and said if we could do something have a different version. But in the end, the speedrunning community just organized themselves. They got the patch and they just made it themselves. So it was really awesome.
All right.
And it's really nice to have these two versions, because in the end they have two versions.
Right.
In the speedrunning community.
Very often with different versions of games, especially because, with modern gaming, we have a lot of updates. It can be changing certain really difficult boss fights that are overtuned beyond, belief. Just general gameplay changes, quality of life, adding things.
Yeah.
When a game changes significantly, it can really kind of change things. So what a lot of runners will do is they'll kind of find what was the most fun patch of the game's lifespan to run on, and then usually that becomes the standard because you kind of want all the runners to be on an even playing field or playing fair.
Yeah, completely understandable. Yes, it's really fun because it's the speedrunners version, and we completely support it. We love how everyone's been playing the game, and we love seeing fun fact: speedrunners play the game faster than testers. That's and I had to play the game myself. I had to play the game around 30 times. So, we had even cheat codes and stuff, and we could teleport, and even I couldn't run it so fast.
Okay.
Of course,
really
we were
quick.
looking to break the game. So
I gotta ask, because for anyone who doesn't know, there are a few cool tricks in this game, and one of them that we haven't been talking about yet, and I'm wondering, did you guys know about this in development? But right now, whenever Rebecca is playing the game, she's actually playing on two forms of gameplay.
Yeah.
I want to say one hand is on the keyboard and one hand's on the controller, because I think it's one hand's on her mouse and one hand's on the controller. Because using the mouse in menuing or anything that requires you to just do that, it's much faster on mouse. So Rebecca here is required to do both, and it's a really weird configuration that you're not going to be able to actively see. So did you all know that this was a thing when you were doing this in testing?
Well, we did because it's something really funny because when we are testing, controls break a lot. So having both control schemes working seamlessly, at the same time, it's really good for us, for testers. So we actually did this system that changed on the fly, so that you can just choose the one you want when you want, and it's really fun to see the speedrunning community using that feature. It was really useful for us, during testing and during development, because not every developer has a controller, so you need to work with what you have, and we don't want to actually start playing with different controllers and stuff like that, or change from the keyboard to the controller if you're developing. So it was really like a quality of life for us. And we had to do the testing for both actually, and then for each console and so on. So this one I like this puzzle I love because it was such a headache because you have to synchronize many scenes. So for anyone who hasn't developed games or software, everything is an illusion. The game there's no mention, You have a lot of rooms with code that connects them, and actually this game, the doors are connected dynamically. So as a tester, we actually had the problem that we opened a door and we found a new room because they changed the order of the rooms. And one of the problems you have when you make games and you make these puzzles that go through many rooms is that you have to keep track of what you did. So we had many problems with this keeping the elevator open. It was really problematic. And we actually had the problem that when the game launched, a streamer actually got a softlock and a bug that wasn't supposed to happen. And Nix and Maxi, I think, helped him unlock the game. So it's really memorable because we had so many problems with this feature in development, and then to see someone have a softlock when the game launched was like, oh my god,
Right.
Really fun puzzle.
There's also a lot of auto bounce in this game, but just one is useful for speedruns.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, when we were developing the game, we used to jump a lot because we also had some janky physics. So we jumped and we fall a lot of the time, and we try to fix most of the dangerous holes. But yeah, because of the design of this game, as it is one of our first games, of one of our first commercial games, we try to make it safer than many other kind of games. So each room is closed. That allows us to have better like bounding boxes, is more defined. So in general, the game is designed to be easier to queue quality assurance. Everything is confined. Each room is very well defined, very easy to test, and we actually automated a lot of tests so that because we had problems that the game crashed when you were playing like 2 hours, and we have a trophy for playing without saving. So it's not a good. It's not good to ask someone, could you play the game without saving, and then having the game crash. It's not like a good relation with your players. So we had to actually do some testing. And this room, I love this puzzle also. Where you have to run around the character.
There we go.
It's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun. Rebecca here is doing a glitch where she actually does more damage going through to the menu, and it's really fun to see those kind of stuff. One of my favorite glitches is not very useful for speedrunning. Was that in this didn't get into the commercial version, but there was some characters that if you shot them with a shotgun in a certain order and pause, the character would fly away. So that was one of my favorite glitches in the game. Just flying monsters, you know.
Right.
Really fun, really fun. It's actually really fun to develop a game, and it's more fun to have people play it. And Rebecca is just amazing, you know.
Thank you so much.
See her play, yeah. To see her play the game. This she memorized. She knows the dimension much better than I do, and I was one of the persons making the game, you know. Well, they moved the rooms a lot because I remember that they moved the rooms like many times, and they moved the objects and everything, and this I remember when we were doing like the launch of the game. Just before the launch, I was playing the game online, like the demo, and because I was a developer, I wasn't playing the demo. I was playing the full game. It was a happy accident that no one realized because no one sees us play. But when I realized, I was like, okay, guys, this is all I can show you. You know, but it's fine. So. And did you know that Rebecca actually bought the game? We didn't get to give her a key, and we would have, but we were just launching the game. We didn't know Rebecca back then. And do you know why we knew how we got to know Rebecca?
I do not know.
People on Twitter started saying that the main character of our game looked like Rebecca.
That is very accurate.
The same.
Yeah,
the
it's
same
very accurate.
hairstyle.
But the thing is that we got to know Rebecca because of that, and people were saying like, "Did you do this so that she played your games?" It was like, "No, who's Rebecca?" You know, and it was oh, she does look like the girl, you know, and it was
what
really
a coincidence.
What a coincidence! Yeah, it was really funny because we just didn't expect someone to look like Rebecca and to be Chilean. You know, such a big coincidence. And someone that plays Resident Evil games. You know, it was too many coincidences.
And for anyone who hasn't seen it, by the way, I just want to give special props because during the AGQ run earlier this year, in the beginning, you can see Rebecca did like a whole cosplay of the thing with the missing eye too, and the whole outfit. It just looks great.
Yeah. We actually gave some PR like these objects that the publisher gave us, so that she actually has like the photo, the letter, and stuff like that, so that she can actually complement the cosplay. Some nice gifts from the publisher.
Yeah.
So some rubber eyes also.
Just
I love the
hopefully
lighter
and
so much.
Yeah, and the lighter, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, a jump scare.
Yeah, that
Yay.
we were playing the game with Rebecca and our community manager, because we have a community manager, and he must be in the comments section, and he was playing the game, and Rebecca was coaching him, and she just let him go straight to that jump scare, and it was so much fun. We have the clip. Oh, it's so much fun.
Sorry, I'm a bad person.
It's fun.
You're a great person. You're a great person. Yeah, the game only has like 2 or 3 jump scares. That was on purpose. We don't want to have we don't want to abuse jump scares. We think the game can be scary enough with the enemies and the puzzles and the story. So we actually limited a lot the jump scares. Because they become more memorable that way, you know?
Right.
By the way, Hasu is in the chat. Hey, Hasu, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it was so much fun. So he just went like, "Whoa!"
He almost cried.
Yeah. He had to pause the game.
The Wolverines.
Oh. Yeah. Well, and on the bad part of the game, there was a very big streamer, because the game is made so old school. You know, you have to save the game. You have to actually use a record. So actually, if Rebecca dies, there's no checkpoint on the game. So that's one of the things the game has. And there was actually a streamer that people said, "Oh, you could play this game," and he went and started playing the game. He was killed by the first enemy, and he realized that the game didn't save. He said, "Okay, I'm not going to play this game." And it was like, "Oh, he's right," but
Oh.
but it was just great to see him playing the game. He was very gentle. He didn't like talk shit about the game. He just said like the game looked great, but he didn't think that it was for him. So it was really great. Well, here we see these sections where you go to the past. There was so much. We had so much trouble with going back to the past. The amount of problems you have with time travel is just amazing. Just amazing. Like, we didn't realize it has really only a small amount of time travel, the game, but even that can make a lot of headaches. And this scene is really fun. We didn't see the because this is a speedrun, we didn't see the animation, but the actress that does the animations for Caroline also does them for Anna. So it's really fun because she actually had to do this scene twice, and she did it like on the first take. Really fun. It was synchronized and everything. And no, Rebecca wasn't the actress for the character.
Again. But I could be.
Yeah. And well, one of the biggest problems with time travel is that you could have like you could multiply items like really fast, and the states of the items and stuff like that was a really headache. It's really fun to have time travel in the game. It does give it like a really nice like addition to see the places on the other dimension and to see the places on the past. And it actually helped us do more with what we have, because as we were a small team making this game, we had to do the most we could with what we have. So the game actually revolves around dimension a lot, so you are backtracking a lot, but it's fun. we try to make it fun. We try to open new areas, to open new roads, to go with the lights off, to go with the lights on, to have the light, then you have the flashlight. So there's a lot of variety you have on the same place. So that was a design decision made so that you didn't realize we were poor. But we weren't poor, but it was really fun. And this key was one of those stuff we did that we wanted to have something that you used a lot, so that we have this system where you modify items and then you use them modified, and the key was just the biggest, like the most used item that's modified like constantly. And we can do like really fun puzzles. Like each puzzle of this key is really fun. And there you saw like some maps you can grab. Rebecca doesn't need because she knows the dimension better than her own home. But those maps were an addition also after the launch, because people was just keep getting lost. So we did add a map to the game. So guys, you don't have to learn how to play through the game like Rebecca. You can look at the map.
Don't be like me, please.
Yeah.
Especially on the first. If you play the game for the first time, don't do it. Use the map.
It's really fun to see Rebecca play this fast because Hasu played the game like for 8 hours and he was like, oh, am I coming to the end of the game? He was like, no, Hasu, you're about the middle of the game, because he was a little bit slower, because he was talking, we were playing, having fun, but it was really fun when he was like, oh, am I close to the end of the game? I was like, no, Hasu, he had a lot to go. Actually, I think he hasn't finished the game. So we should make him play again.
He has to.
He has to. And it was really fun because we actually had him host a run from Rebecca, and it was really fun because he was like, okay, so what comes after this? And Rebecca was like, it's over. It was the end of the game, and Has was like, what? What just happened? What? You just saw a speedrun. Really fun. Yeah, I love this part. This is something really fun. The game originally had like a different idea for your character. The original idea was for your character to be evil. Well, not evil. It was really strange, but you had like this out of character experiences where, for example, Rebecca is right now looking for an arm to put back to the priest. So that had a completely different lore before. Now it's just something magical, but in the beginning was like some psychological stuff. And I love this puzzle. I love the monkeys puzzle. Everything about this puzzle is really fun. From the fact that you just cut his head, and you have this poem that you have to interpret it. It is a really hard puzzle, so I'm not going to spoil it. But it was really fun because you have this puzzle that's really hard, and if you want to understand it, but the first version you could just brute force it. And we didn't want to have any puzzle to be able to be brute forced, so we actually changed it to be so slow, or there were so many combinations that you just couldn't brute force your way through. And that's one of the great things about this game. It's really hard to just try to brute force your way. So you have to read, you have to see what you are making, you have to understand the puzzles. Or you have to go and look for a solution.
Oh no!
Don't die.
Thank you, hitboxes.
I'll definitely say as well, for any potential game devs, if you want to prevent brute forcing, make it anything more than 3.
Yeah.
If it's
That's
3 or
actually what we
lower,
did.
it's brute forceable. Anything
Yeah.
more, you can't do it.
Well, it depends. It also depends on the 3, because if it's 3 that's combinable, like in any combination, yeah. But if it's 3, but it's an order, it's too low. You need like 5
Yeah.
and onwards if you're going to order something.
And then you also mentioned the speed of rotating the options.
Yeah.
And how many options you give.
Yeah. For example, there's a puzzle where some puzzles you have to wait for animation. That's on purpose. We want to avoid you wanting to brute your way through the game, brute force your way through the game. So to do that, we do some animations and we reset the state or randomize it, so that you cannot do it like really fast. Like, okay, I try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You cannot do that. So it's really a good for devs. It's a really good recommendation if you want to avoid brute force. You have to see the combination, the explosion, the combinational explosion, and you want to have it big enough so that you can actually have it. I just wanted to ask something. You didn't get the flashlight. Why is that? Is there something I'm missing? Are you going to?
Oh God! I'm sorry. I forgot the flashlight.
Yeah.
New strats are on the way.
Yeah, I was like,
Whoops.
what kind of strat is this? How is she going to get?
It's a small backtrack.
I just forgot.
I was like,
It's fine.
Is she going to talk,
It's fine,
get the flashlight, and get something else at the same time?
Yes,
Just running.
Yeah. Why is? I was thinking. I think I forgot something. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and the priest.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, when we were testing the game, the priest talks so much. We actually reduced his text many times because he's the only NPC, but he talks so much, And it's fine. He can talk. He can monologue if he wants. But we actually started like reducing his speech. And it's fun. It's fun. We started like putting him in different parts of the mansion. In the beginning, he was just like on the basement, mainly on the basement, and we then started to put him around the mansion. But he talks too much. I hate him. Well, because I have to talk to him many times. Too many times. And I always remember that line from Silent Hill 3 where the psychologist, I think, tells you, oh, so you see them as monsters. And I always...
Yeah.
It's such a good line. And I love because...
They look like monsters to you?
Yeah. And in this game, there's actually old people. Like, this is another jump scare. Hasu didn't jump that much in this one. He did get scared, but no, that's the first one. Rebecca actually bait him really well in the first one. And I loved it because this is actually a mansion/hospital. So you actually have like everyone in wheelchairs and with stuff, and so they look like monsters to you. I always say like, why are you attacking that old man? Yeah, he has like long hands, but I'm sorry. I know it's a horror game, but I always take everything with a bit of humor.
I almost got a hit, but we're fine.
More. So as I was saying, this key is you use it a lot throughout the game. It was really fun. Yeah, and actually I participated on the development because I'm one of the owners of one of the two of Abstract Digital, one of the co-development companies. And in the beginning I did programming and everything, but in the end I was more in the production, in the quality assurance area. And I had to play the game, and I had to lead the players, and the devs actually used me as the first blind tester for new puzzles to see if it was too hard or if no one understood it.
Okay,
Because they had to implement them.
I'm gonna concentrate here. I'm gonna talk in Spanish because it's the only way I can remember the puzzle. 3, 4, 4, 5. 3, 3, 1. 3, 3, 1. 5, 3. 5, 3, 4. 5, 3, 4, 1. 4, 4, 5. 4, 5, 2. 4, 5. Oh! Sorry! I got nervous, sorry. Okay, again. 4, 5, 3. It's full RNG, sorry. 3, 3, 5, 4. 3, 3, 1. 3, 1, 3, 3. 3, 1, 3, 3. 5, 5. 5, 5, 2. 5, 5, 2, 1. 5, 5, 2, 1. 2. Yeah, there we go.
You almost hit the 3.
Almost.
Almost. And I love this puzzle. This is a fun fact. For when we were developing this puzzle, you actually got like a kind of soda in the beginning of the game. And what you had to do with that is you had to put the water, the soda in the mold and then freeze it. And then you had this amulet to keep going on in the game. And the problem was that the game is full of water everywhere. So in the beginning, we actually started like removing all of the water of the game so that it made some sense, you know? And there was a point where it was like, you know, there's so much water in the game. There's no way we are going to be able to remove all the water from the game. So we should change this. So in the end, you have to put blood into this container, and that's the change. So the reasoning behind this is that blood doesn't flow through the cracks as water does. So that's why you have to use blood. And this puzzle, we actually there was a point in the game where you actually could have like 2 or infinite like batteries, because you went to the past, you put the battery. You go into the future, you took out the battery, you went to the past, you took out the battery, and then you had 2 batteries. And you could start playing like that like a lot of time. So in the end, we decided to do like if there's a battery in the past, it is in the present. And if it is not in the present, it's not in the past. You know? Some really strange like time travel and stuff, like just to avoid having too many batteries. Really fun puzzles also. Really fun. Yeah, and I would love to do in the future to have like these puzzles that you need to go to time travel, to have people like if you take too much time, like hours, like 12 hours playing, that to have like the amulet like to actually freeze. And to have the battery actually charge would be so much fun. Like this Metal Gear stuff where if you take too much or if you change the time of your console, the sniper dies. It's so much fun. He dies of old age.
I got bad RNG, but it's fine. It's fine. We're good for now.
Yeah. Well, and the skirt of Caroline, I remember because it has physics, and we move Caroline a lot. When you don't see it, when you enter a scene, everything is black. We actually move Caroline around. So usually you would start Caroline with her skirt like inside of her underwear or inside of her geometry. So that was really. There was so much tweaking done to have the skirt work. And I love also the design of the monsters. The Araneda brothers did a really nice job. Those monsters are actually blind, the ones on the wheelchair. So if you work really slow, they shouldn't be catch you. Well, in the lore, at the time it was like that. Right now I think that they can somewhat see, and I love that in the lore they have like a tuning fork inside their brain, and that's the way they can hear. Really strange. I love it.
No. Okay.
Those stabby guys.
I hate them. But
They are really...
speeders are worse. Are way worse. And they are very.
Yeah.
They are RNG. 100% RNG in this game.
Well, with it, I love doing like enemies like that, like more RNG. Some heavy like state machines with random stuff. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, definitely.
and I love this puzzle because every time a streamer, especially English streamers, got the word, they were like, Martha!
Martha!
Martha, why did you say that name? Oh, he didn't speak.
Okay, say hi to Anna, the wrong killer. The worst wrong killer in this game.
The worst, yeah, the RNG queen.
She's very similar to the ghost in Silent Hill 4.
Yeah.
She's also
we actually based, she's actually based on Pyramid Head and the ghosts and stuff like that, because it helps to liven up to up the antics of the game, because you start playing you start knowing the mansion, you start feeling safe, you start killing everything around you, and that's when we introduce an unkillable monster, and if you happen to shoot her and try to kill it, then you just waste bullets, and that's not good because this is a survival horror game. So it's really fun. I think it works very well. It shows why all of these immortal guys are useful. And I just love like how the character, she has like her own like personality, and streamers are like you said, like she's a run killer. Oh no, she's here, and I love those reactions. So she actually gives like a lot of. She has made a lot of fun moments.
Oh no, Slutcher, please don't hit me. Nice abs, by the way. Okay, there we go.
Have you been working out, Slasher?
There we go. Thank you so much. Oh, that was close.
Yeah. You're so fast playing the game. It's just amazing. Seeing you avoid every guy. And I love these cameras. The guys also, the Araneda Brothers did a really great work presenting you the different spaces, and these crooked cameras are really good to show you that something bad is happening. And this camera movement and all, it's really fun to just have you feel unsafe, feel like something is off, and it's great. And we actually, when we were making the game, I was actually doing like the marketing research and everything, and I realized that what they wanted to do, the Araneda Brothers, of this fixed camera with great cameras and everything, was really good for streaming, and it shows. It's like looking at a movie.
Hello.
Give me a hawk.
No, please.
And I love the animations also from Anna. Anna's really fun.
Not for me, but okay, no Anna. For now, I'm getting good RNG. For now.
It's RNG. You have to get some good, some bad. this puzzle is one of the it's the only puzzle that doesn't allow Tormented Souls. Well, this one and somewhat the rhythm one is the only thing stopping like deaf people from playing the game. So in the future, we're going to try to avoid having like a strictly sound puzzle. There's no reason to leave like deaf people like out of the game.
From what I have heard, a way that you can do that is, I think in the original Resident Evil 3, you have the chime puzzle where you're supposed to match the chime to the clock tower music kind of box thingy. I think one option they have is, although it's randomized every time, it's just to use audio cues, they put visually the correct answer at the bottom of the clock tower. So if you don't want to do the audio version, if you find the other one, you can have visually what it is.
Yeah. For example, for the rhythm one, this is really fun. I was testing the game on my notebook. This was a good accident. So I was playing the game on my notebook, and I wasn't using headphones. I was just using the speakers of the notebook, and I couldn't hear the heartbeat. And it was like, why can't I hear the heartbeat? And I went to the devs, and they were like, no, it's there, And it was because it doesn't have a bass, the speakers of the notebook. And it was good because the sound designer Nix actually went and added like some sounds, some high pitch.
What are you doing there?
He's just doing bad RNG for you. So he actually added like some high pitched sounds to accompany the beat.
No. Oh my god, please. Oh, thank you so much.
He's the worst RNG, yeah.
That's fine. It happens.
So if you have a Gutana, you have a bad speeder,
Yeah. At least we got the auto bound on first try.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, and then when we got to switch handheld mode, you are not going to feel the beat. So then you can actually use some haptics, so you can actually vibrate the controllers and do some other tricks for that. So that you don't need to always use like audio cues. You can have some vibration or stuff like that. But for melodies, we were thinking about using like visual cues, like colors related to the melody, so that you can somewhat see the melody. That would be a good solution for that kind of puzzles. But the idea is to not make them too easy, So the first versions that was like some stairs, some normal stairs. Always fun looking at the game and remembering like how it looked. This was for me when I played this. These were like white cubes, tons of white cubes. So nice.
Like tofus.
Yeah, tofus. Tofu, the horror game. Yeah. This section for me. If it was for me, I would have finished the game a year earlier, and I would have finished it like with the boss battle here. But the guys, they're very ambitious, and it was all right. So they did this whole section, the bunker section. This is more than we had originally planned. So the publisher was really happy because we actually did all of this with the same budget. So we did twice the game with the same budget. But the good thing is we did much more than twice the projected sales, so it was worth it. We are not millionaires by any means, but it has sold really well. And we just launched on Asia not that long ago, so those sales are starting to come now. So hopefully we become millionaires with this game, or the next one is fine, or never is fine. Also, yeah, just looking people play our game is fine. hopefully you guys play speedrun our next games. We would love to see Rebecca speedrun our next games and to have a speedrunning community because it's just so much fun.
If it's a horror game, I might end back on the show.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Really nice. This is such a nice puzzle. I love
one
it.
of the hardest. It was one of the hardest when I played this game for the first time.
For me, it was one of the funniest, easiest. Go incremental numbers. Okay, done. It was really fast for me. But yeah, it was really hard for most people. It was too many ideas to put together. I was already accustomed to the way the brothers were thinking. But with testers, they had many problems. Yeah. I think it was actually harder in the beginning. You had to actually do, because right now you start going up the numbers. But I think in the beginning you had to actually do a sequence that you had to find somewhere else. So it was much harder. So that's one of the things we did a lot when we were testing. We tried to streamline, to do everything like a little bit easier to understand, to avoid frustration when there's not enough communication. So you have as a developer.
No.
So you, as a developer, you need to communicate very well with your players if you don't want them to start searching for stuff that's not there. So that's one of the biggest problems with this kind of games, where you have puzzles that require stuff or require for you to know some other stuff. You have to try to communicate to the player very fast. You don't have what you need to complete this puzzle. That's very important. And we did fail in some places, I think, somewhat, but people have loved the game, so I think this was nothing too bad. Oh, look, a button. So many strange stuff in this mansion.
That's why I love this game so much.
I love it because...
Anna, please leave me alone.
I don't want to play. Do you want to be a blood man? No, Anna.
No, Anna, please. I don't want you. Not right now.
Yeah, it's really fun because it's like the Resident Evil mansion, but it makes more sense. So this mansion, there's a lot of nonsense in this mansion also, but it's not that much nonsense, you know. You don't have like a chess key. It's really strange. We do have stuff like that, but not that much. So we try to be in between, like not too ridiculous. And this is one of my favorites. It's like, okay, I'm going to cut my eye off. I don't know why. That's really ridiculous. That's also ridiculous.
It's awesome.
I don't know, but
yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome because but right now some players do it and then don't know why they did it. And that's really fun. That's really funny. Okay.
It's one of the biggest plot twists in the game.
Yeah. It is. I love it. Like okay, so you're missing an eye. Who would do this?
Anna. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I always say that if we.
Why did I say? Oh, I got good Argentine.
Yeah, you said it. You said it, and you jinxed it. That's true. So I joked about making a sequel, like because of one of the endings, has done some time travel around. So we could have like a Dead Space like game with Caroline as the main character. It would be so much fun. Or you could have Caroline be the bad guy in a spaceship and be very old. So those are only jokes, guys. But it would be fun. I would do stuff like that, but I'm not the director of this game. I was just part of the co-producers. So any bad idea, you must talk with the Araneda brothers. Every bad idea is their fault. Every good idea is because of me. It's not true, but really nice design, really nice work with the guys, and it was really fun because we are my company Abstract Digital is more of an engineer. My business partners are all engineers. Oh, you're really good in this puzzle. This puzzle is really fun because the reason you have this lock in your inventory is because I made some instructions of the first puzzles and interactions you had to do in the game, just to have the system set up. So the reason you have like this lock in your inventory is because we designed a test case where you had to grab the lock after solving it. And one of the fun things is that we talked like, when are you going to use it? And that's when that puzzle that opens up this place, the last place of the bunker. And it was really fun. You have this all. Most people have it for hours. Yeah, Rebecca is really fast, but most people have this lock for hours in their inventory, and it's really fun to finally use it. And these guys are terrifying.
Okay. There we go. Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Yeah, those guys are dangerous.
Yeah, he did the same movement twice. I almost got scared.
That's because you jinxed your RNG.
Now I'm gonna try to dodge this guy. It's gonna be a little bit hard, but... almost, but we're fine. It's actually an alternative controller. It's very similar to Resident Evil HD Remaster controller.
Yeah, we actually, when most people thought when we were making the game and the remastered it came, that we were doomed. That they were like, oh no, I'm so sorry, there's a Resident Evil remaster coming out, so how are you guys doing? And we were like, hell yeah, people is playing this kind of games, they're going to play our game, you know? This demonstrates there's people that want to play this kind of games. And it was like that. You know, so it was the controllers, we designed them before seeing the new Resident Evil, but it just confirmed that this is the best way to go, and reviewers actually loved the control scheme, so it was good. The testers also liked it. We kept the tank controllers somewhat hidden from most players, but the usual players will play with the normal, modern scheme of controlling 3D characters. It's not that fun to do that kind of controllers with these Chinese cameras, because you have to change on the fly and not that strong where you're going, because the camera changes and you're moving in relation to the camera. So that was a lot of pain. It was painful to you do that the control scheme. That was Nix, the one that was suffering with that. The tank controls are really nice. They can you go forward, you rotate, you go forward. Nothing else. There's no problem. I remember when I did this puzzle, I had to draw it. I love it. It's really good.
Yeah, the first time is very confusing.
Yeah, very confusing. It's, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Oh, I see. And like that, really nice puzzle. That's one that has the problem that sometimes you don't have the tree stuff, the tree. How do you say tapa? I don't. My English. I don't remember how to say like cap. But you don't have the three caps sometimes, and you cannot solve that puzzle. So that can be a problem. But it's so far in the game that people usually just try to find the solution. And I love how that goes away, and then you can. This is good. This is more than a puzzle. This is just an interactive action. Really nice.
Sweet. So many secrets in this game. A lot of secrets.
Yeah. Yes, it's, well, in the all of what you're playing right now was originally going to be Tormented Souls 2, but we got greedy. We wanted to do the game at once. So.
Oh.
Yeah, the game was going to end when you entered the bunker.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But in the end, we did like more game. I love it how it is 2 for 1. Like you multiply the damage and you reload.
There we go. That was a perfect boss fight.
Yeah.
I always love how they just like drop after you kill them.
Yeah, because you're glitching them.
Okay, the fastest ending is the remorse ending, but because this is a marathon, I'm gonna do the normal ending. It's not that good. It's very sad, but it's way better than the remorse ending. So, goodbye, Anna.
Oh.
Goodbye.
I'm just saying though, earlier Anna can tank like a whole shotgun blast, but I don't think the knife should be that powerful.
It's a scalpel. It's not a knife.
Oh, of course.
They are very dangerous.
It's also it's way dangerous, I think.
No, scalpels are very, very dangerous. Way too fast to cut everything. So for the rope and stuff like that, in the beginning there were like a lot of saws, knives. There's a lot of knives going around the game, so we had to take them off until you actually use the knife, the scalpel to actually cut the rope, and then you start seeing a lot of other stuff like the scalpel. But you already have the scalpel, so it makes sense that you don't want to grab it. Oh, I failed so many times in this one.
Same. I choked so many times.
And then having to like reshoot the middle to get it back up too is just rough.
Yeah,
fun rough, but definitely.
Oh, and the thing is that you don't have like when you get low on bullets, it's really bad. When you are testing the game. This kind of, I remember Silent Hill has like a final boss that if you don't have enough bullets, you cannot end the game, stuff like that. So there are games that do that. Really cruel. This game we added like some bullets in this section.
Is it possible to do this section with only the melee weapon, the crowbar?
It is, but I think it's somewhat like glitch.
Ah.
But it is possible now. I don't know if it was on purpose in the end, because we did have that preoccupation, that concern that maybe you would run out of bullets and you would need to finish this boss battle some way. But I don't remember, because they added a lot of changes after launch. But there was a time when we were talking about a lot about that, and I think we have some respawning bullets. We had at some time respawning bullets. There's a lot of things you can do to solve those kind of problems. Respawning bullets, having like a melee version or a melee option, having like enough bullets in the section so that if you die, you die, and you just reload your save. So there's a ton of ways to go to that situation as developers.
Oh yeah, there's actually a crowbar percent run.
Right.
It's actually a thing. It's actually a thing. And it's hard. But it's very fun.
Yeah.
If you wanna try challenge, you can do crowbar percent. You can try crowbar percent for sure.
It's very
similar. It's very similar to knife only in Resident Evil series.
Yeah, but it's so hard to fight anything with crowbar in this game. We just did it like as a nice stuff, nice option, but it's not really designed the game to fight with the crowbar. So,
okay, we are very close to the end, so
yeah, we are finishing the game.
Almost time. And time. There we go. GG's.
Right, Ron, let's see what your in-game time was, because this game does use a pretty nice in-game time system, if I remember right.
Yeah, we used a load remover.
Yeah. So it was a 1-17.
Awesome.
It was a solid run. I'm very proud of it. Except for the flashlight. Thank you for helping. Thank you for helping me with that.
Where are you going without the flashlight?
Yeah, that was Tormented Souls. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the run. Thank you so much, Dices, for the opportunity, and thank you so much, Sven, for the commentary. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca, for inviting me. It was really fun commenting on the game while seeing you just kill it. It was really fun, really fun.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. So while I have you, Rebecca, one, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give? And two, if anyone wanted to find you on Twitch or anywhere, where can they find you?
Okay. Shout out to the Tormented Souls community. Shout out to my community, the Tofu family. Shout out to my friends who always support me. You can find me on Twitch as Rebecca RE. I speedrun Tormented Souls, Resident Evil series, and also Course Party 2.
All right. I do want to say thank you again, Rebecca, for joining us for Tormented Souls and for doing that run of Tormented Souls. It was a really good run, and thank you as well, Sven, for the commentary and just for being able to join. It's always nice to have a dev perspective on these games.
Thank you.
Yeah. That being said, everyone, that has been Speedruns from the Crypt for this week. I hope you all enjoyed the show. It was nice looking at a variety of Tormented games. I do want to say that Tormented is not the only reason I wanted Tormented Souls on here. Tonight's show actually works well as a leading announcement because me and Rebecca RE are actually going to be hosting an upcoming marathon on the GDQ Hotfix channel. On September 24th and 25th, we will be hosting the Latin American Hotfix, which will be a showcase of many Latin American speedrunners and Spanish-speaking speedrunners. So I definitely hope you'll be excited for that, and it will be a 2-day affair. So it should be quite exciting. As for Speedruns from the Crypt, we'll be back in our regular 2 weeks, but we'll be back sooner for that Latin American Hotfix. I have been your host, Dices. If you ever want to check me out or hear how I do things, you can find me down here. I am to be found everywhere, Twitch, Twitter, all that. And I usually talk about how I run the GDQ show over here for the Crypt segments. All right, anyway, please join us for the raid. We'll be raiding a fun channel. I do hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and or night, and see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, guys.